Hey, party people! Welcome back to the Split Party Podcast. I don't have my pop filter on.
Get the pop filter on for this.
Yeah. Welcome back to the Split Party Podcast. This is going to be episode 7B. Our giveaway should have just ended, actually probably 2 weeks ago by now. So congratulations to whoever won that, and we hope that you are enjoying or will enjoy your book once it gets to you. Furthermore, if you are not following us on social media, we are on Twitter, on Instagram, and you can subscribe to us on YouTube if you want, if that's your preferred way of listening to us. And if you like what you're listening to and you've been listening to us from day one or just a few episodes, or even if this is your first episode and you really like what you're hearing, please, it would go a long way if you gave us a review on whatever listening platform that you're on. And we would appreciate that a lot. It would really help us grow, and it would be a really good thing for us. If you are a huge fan of the podcast and really, really want to support us, support like the art that we get made for our characters and NPCs, support the the animations that we get done for our logos that you see on like Instagram, for example, support the funding for our giveaways, then Patreon is the place to look for an avenue to support us. We would really appreciate it, and we'd be glad to have you. If you are already a part of all that stuff or not a part of that stuff, but really want to be part of like the community and listen, talk to us, be able to message us, talk to other fans of the podcast, really get to be part of the community, go check us out on Discord. The link should be in the description of this episode. Thank you, Jimmy. I think that's it. So next we're going to get into the recap, and then we're going to go over like kind of for the players where we left off. Just like a brief little snip, and then we're right into it. It's all player agency, and we'll see where this episode takes us. Frixur, 32nd of Stivos, 301 YOD. 5 days before Darkrain. Sunset at a vineyard. Typically, this was a good situation for one to find themselves in. It often meant a long night of sampling drinks, laughter all around, and good memories to tell at the inn the next week. Warm bellies, warm chests, warm spirits. Not this time. They had their fair share of celebration back at the ship after the serpents were put to rest. Now it was time for them to creep back into the darkness of Astoya. That was until the darkness withdrew. Like a blanket being pulled from the sky, rippling and lingering at the edges. At a glance, if they really did have their bearings, and knew which way was which, then the darkness was pulled back towards Nova Stoya. They were a dozen miles or so from Castelor now. The army would likely want to catch their foe in bed, so it wouldn't be a surprise if they pushed into the morning and attacked at dawn. But what of the illness that struck the vineyard? The man they found surmised that it had been the wine, or that it had to have been the wine. A poison of sorts that carried a disease. This vineyard had enough wine that it must have been the shipments for half of Astoya, perhaps even more. Would it have spread to Castelor by now? Would it be too late? There was only one way to find out. And somewhere behind them, their tracks ran all the way back to the shoreline where they met the sea and pointed towards the boats which bobbed and swayed patiently, waiting for the party's return. And so we resume. You guys were traveling, and it was the same day of the morning that you guys kind of, Tamacti and Rubin had prayed to their own specific deities, and both had received sort of like a response. Tamacti, not quite yet a seraph of Moriel, but really, really pushing his faith in that direction. And then Rubin, having received Starsinker, which he bathed in the flames here while he was speaking with Kirill, Starsinker absorbed the flames and like rippled with that sort of warm, fiery energy, just like veins of fire just running down the chain links all the way to the hilt of the handle. And he just kept saying, light the fire, sink the stars. But I'm getting ahead of myself. So you guys were traveling, and Gabriel decided it would be best if he went out and did some scouting alongside Weasel, which was the scout of the merchants. And so he did, and they went ahead and they found a watch post, and the watch post was abandoned, it seemed like, or whatever guard was there was no longer there, and that was a bad sign. And so they kind of like waited around that area for a little bit, and then decided, well, the others will find it. They'll think that we took care of the person here anyways, and they'll just keep moving, so let's keep moving. And they moved ahead where they found this vineyard. and Gabriel did some surveillance of it. Weasel went back to meet with the rest of the army, and that is where the army decided, okay, we should send forward a party to get in there and do some more scouting and really get a feel for the place, find out what's going on. And so Tamacti had already made his name relevant to Clan Limgri, so they said, well, Tamacti already suggested himself, so let's send him. And then Rubin raised his hand to go as well, and Morgong sent alongside you guys a figure called a Disembodied. You don't know anything about those in character or out of character, I would imagine, but they were there with you guys and Vova when you arrived, and then they just vanished. You saw no sort of spell being cast or anything like that. They just vanished all of a sudden, and you haven't seen them since. But on deeper inspection of this facility, you found that the remnants of it, the figures that are just kind of like crazed and mad and like standing around, rocking back and forth, stuff like that, they all seemed to want to attack you for no reason. They looked like they were still living or like barely still living. Like they looked humanoid still. It's not like they were changed or anything like that. They just had like patches of skin on their arms and legs, or like missing skin and muscle, even down to the bones in some spots. And they tried to attack you guys, and Tamacti fought off a few of them, and Gabriel searched downstairs where he found somebody by the name of Race Vena, who said he doesn't drink wine, so it had to have been the wine, and that he had retreated downstairs with a spear out of fear of like being attacked by these things. He wasn't sure where to go, and so he and Gabriel are still in like the wine cellar sort of facility that goes underground and houses all the wine. And Rubin and Vova are approaching the stairs to make their way up and speak with Tamacti.
No, we just come down from speaking to Tamacti.
Yeah, they had already spoken to him after he blew that dude's brains off.
Yeah, because we ran out and we're like, "Oh, are you all right?" And he's like, "Yeah, I just shot a bunch of dudes."
Oh, okay. I forgot that you had already spoken. Then yeah, and it looks like Tamacti is off in one of the side rooms. I don't actually remember what Tamacti had planned for being in this side room over here, but maybe Covert remembers. That being said, I think we're going to resume, and it looks like Gabriel opens the door right next to him with Race there in tow, and Race is holding one of these wine bottles with him. He was very adamant that he wanted to make sure that if he was brought back to the army that he wouldn't be killed, and Gabriel kind of gave him his word saying that he would make sure that he was fine, and Race also expressed that he was very worried about his family, which was back in Castelor.
Yeah, a little bit. I don't think they're gonna make it, but I don't want to break it up to him. So, and I think the two of us were just stepping out of the building when it turned to day. So,
I believe that's right.
I step outside and I look back towards him, and I'll look up and see the sun.
And it kind of catches him off guard. He's like squinting at first as the doors open, and he walks out, and it takes him a moment where it's like, wow, something really doesn't feel right. And it's like, oh my god, the sky is light.
I'm just like, what the fuck?
He just seems kind of speechless at the time, and is looking out, and he turns around like back towards where the fire was, and starts to walk towards the fire, looking towards the now setting sun to the west, and is just like squinting and covering his eyes, mumbling stuff under his breath, like stuff along the lines of like, oh my god, this can't be like,
it must be pretty hard for these people, their eyes are so used to the darkness. So
yeah,
I extinguish my torch because there's no point anymore. And Rubin,
and Rubin too was kind of staring at the sky next to Vova. I suppose this doesn't happen in Astoria.
No, this doesn't happen. There's something wrong. There's something very wrong.
He nods slightly, and probably about that time, that's when Gabriel calls.
Vova looks pretty worried, and he stops as you're like, if you are making your way towards Gabriel, Vova just like stops in his tracks and starts speaking to somebody who isn't there, like as if he's maybe sending a message.
Sending a message to someone.
Yeah, it's fine. He's not going to interrupt him. He's just going to let him do his thing. And
Look towards Rubin, like, what the fuck is going on?
I'm not sure in the slightest.
Does Vovo have any idea?
All he offered was that it was not good. I haven't asked him for his ideas yet. I think he's sending a message,
I nod.
probably to the Raven Court.
Well, besides the sun, we need to dispose of the wine here. I believe it
The
is
wine?
what has made all these people infected. This one here, Race, is the only one who has not drunk wine, and he has not turned into whatever they are.
And Rubin looks towards this man who he hadn't really noticed accompanying Gabriel before.
I found him in the cellar.
Did he see what happened?
I motion towards him that he's free to explain if he wants to.
He's got his eyes shut right now, and he's
Oh,
like got one hand like over his eyes,
Probably
like trying to
way
just shield the
too.
light. Like it's just sensory overload right now.
Gotcha.
Not particularly, but he is saying this batch is a new batch of wine, and they sent a lot towards Castellor.
And he's still holding one of those wine bottles like in his hand, by the way.
Did he say how long ago the last shipment went?
Was it 3 days, I believe? Or 2? 2 or 3 days. We will not catch it.
Would it be safe to assume that it already arrived?
It's
at
like
Castellar?
a half day travel to Castellar
Okay,
from
so
here. So
it arrived a while ago.
Yep.
one could assume, yeah.
Right.
Whatever has
Well-
happened here might happen in Castellor. Which is why I believe when Vova said we will not find what we are looking for there, I am starting to get the incline that he is correct. Or that his intuitions were right.
Yes. Whatever it is, maybe they're secure, but they're not undead.
Then perhaps we should keep one of the barrels. I am planning to burn the rest of them.
A whole barrel. Okay. There are carts around, I guess. So fair.
Perhaps someone could study this thing and figure out what it is exactly. But for now, round up every barrel of wine you can find. Bring it to this building. Point to the building where me and Race came from.
Yeah.
I will burn everything.
And Rubin offers a nod and starts marching off.
And I gather some of the barrels here to put them inside.
Vova
Yeah.
like kind of stops you, if you don't
Nope.
mind, Rubin.
Yeah, no, he was like just mid stride.
And Race knows about the facility pretty well, so he goes about like
Gathering some barrels.
quickly going into the other sort of buildings and
Whoa! Can I stop him before he goes in there?
yeah, I'd say so.
I guess Rubin notices him turning around, or
We'll
I
bring
guess
it back to
notices
like
him
by
walking.
the fire
Okay.
because it would all be happening pretty quickly around the same time. So you're like walking away and Vova
Yeah,
grabs
he
you by the
starts to
shoulder and you turn
burn.
around and you see this guy like power walking towards these doorways over here. To the
And
northwest.
seeing him starting to walk that way, for a moment, Rubin just ignores what Vo was going to say. It's stop. Don't go in there. Not yet. There might be more inside. It hasn't been cleared yet.
Then you want me to just? Okay.
I will go clear
I'll go
it.
first.
Don't worry.
All right, that works.
And he turns and starts headed towards the building that you were originally going towards. Makes his way over there. But meanwhile, Vova is still here in front of you, and he.
And Rubin turns slowly to face him now.
I just spoke with someone at the Raven Court. They would like me to return.
I see.
We need to find out what's happening here, and so I meant to go back, and I will be coming back after Dark Reign ends with a graduate from the Sharno Kingdom back towards Stoyle.
And he nods again. How will you make it back?
I can teleport.
And he nods. I thought you said that wouldn't work.
Not when my hands and legs were bound.
Perhaps I'm misremembering then. Find out what you can about this. I have a feeling that there's going to be quite a few affected by it.
I'm sure that there are, And I can't promise that I will return anywhere specific when Dark Reign is over. So if this is the last time or place that I see you, be cautious.
He nods his head once. Stay safe, Vova. We'll do our best here.
And I wouldn't go trusting that creature that was here, if I were you.
I didn't plan on it.
Alright. Stay safe. And he brushes around you, his kind of like cloak ruffling with the gentle like wind and stride of his steps as he's headed out.
Rubin just watches him head out. He probably will walk to the gate and
Damn,
just
you lost your boy.
kind of watch, make sure the man doesn't get suddenly murdered.
He goes out onto the stones that are all just there, kind of standing still, raised up above the grass a little bit, all very flat sort of surfaces, and he pulls from his little kind of component pouch at his waist a little like stick of chalk or char or something, and begins writing out some sort of symbols across the surface of the stone. I don't know, do you stick around and watch him do the whole thing, or?
Yeah, I think so. I think Rubin just watches. I mean, there are more pressing things, but never seen someone teleport before, so.
What?
Okay.
We saw your dad.
I meant like a spell.
I know. He
That
just
was
kind
like
of
a little
vanished, and so
gem.
he's like, "Oh, I think I figured it."
he was just like, boom. It's like, what the fuck?
Yeah, he's like, "Well, I thought I had more time to talk to."
Yeah, so he sits down and he goes about drawing this up, and as he finishes drawing it up, he stuffs this little chalk back into his component pouch and pulls out his little book from a satchel at his side that he opens up and kind of like holds the pages open with his thumb and his pinky, while like outlining or not outlining but like underlining what he's reading with his index finger across the page. And the pages at the edges start to ruffle, and then like the edges of his robe start to like lift up and ruffle, like as if there's like an updraft of wind, kind of. And he's just like kind of just in the process of casting something. I don't remember how long it takes to cast, just off the top of my head. So
What spell?
teleport.
I think it's
Probably
I
like
think
10
it's-
minutes as a ritual or something like that.
No. Oh, I don't think you can ritual teleport. That's like teleportation circle. That takes a little while.
Oh yeah. But anyways, yeah, he's going about the process of just teleporting. It takes an indeterminate amount of time. We'll just spitball, say like, I don't know, fucking 10 minutes. So if you stick around and watch the whole thing,
He probably wouldn't watch for the full 10
Okay.
minutes. Yeah, a minute would probably pass, and he's like, "All right, I gotta get the moving barrels," and wanders back inside.
Yeah, and as you come back, the guy here, Race Venna, is going about like just tossing these bottles of wine that are out across the table, like back into whatever crates are nearby, or just like whatever barrels are nearby and open. Like he doesn't bother pouring them out. He just like takes the whole bottle and just like tosses it in to like whatever the hell container he can, just to have it all consolidated.
Gotcha.
Before we have any interaction there, I want to come upstairs to Tamacti. What is Tamacti doing? Like, you just finished taking out these three sort of infected individuals that were up top. Rubin and Vova came up and spoke to you. The daylight pulled back across the sky, or the darkness pulled back across the sky, revealing daylight, specifically sunset. And now all of a sudden, you have moved back into this room that you find has like three little crates on it with a candle and two beds, and on top of one of the beds is an open book. I believe you, or maybe it was Gabriel, read an entry from the open book. But yeah, what are you doing here?
So I'd tossed that room, the other room previously, and cut out the canvas from the painting to save for myself. And I believe was starting to read that journal when the last session ended.
Mm-hmm.
So I would like to continue doing so.
Okay, the journal just kind of outlines the sort of like dying words, or not dying words, but like somebody was in here, as we detailed in the last session. They were in here, and the door was closed, and they started to run out of food, and so they were like, okay, I'm gonna go out there and I'm going to try and find food or find others. Just kind of stuff along that line.
No previous journal entries besides that?
It's all just kind of stuff like as if they were writing to somebody, like a loved one back home, but they're not sending. It's not like they're mailing these journal entries. I guess kind of like a memoir,
Okay. And this chest here that is to my token to left on the map, is that, I assume, also ransacked similarly to the degree that the other room was, or is that closed and locked?
Yeah, it would likely be ransacked because somebody who had been staying in here was just like trying to get the most out of all their supplies. I recall describing as well the backpack that's over there by the second bed. It does not have a journal on it. The contents of that were like strewn out across the floor and in a big heap and mess, with the bag itself like open and tipped over on its side.
Okay. Tamacti will wet his thumb and index finger and sort of clamp out that candle.
Yeah.
I don't know what the word for that is. It's definitely not clamp.
I'd say pinch out the candle.
Pinch out, yeah. And then he's gonna check underneath the mattresses of these two beds, see if anyone was stashing away money.
You'll find that the two mattresses are like stacked straw, and dead grass.
Okay.
But you are still free to ruffle through it if you'd like to.
Well, no.
Okay.
I'll go ahead and head down.
Okay. But yeah, you come down to find that Race and Rubin are seemingly rounding up all of the wine that they can find. And
Yeah, so I don't know who this guy is.
Yeah, you haven't met him yet.
I gesture to the guy. Who the hell is this?
And Rubin turns to answer him, like he's got like partially lifting up a barrel into his arms.
One of the survivors, I guess only survivor, Gabriel, found. Apparently, what caused this was the wine.
Tamacti would step over to Rubin. Really?
And Rubin's sitting there with a barrel in his arms.
What size barrel are we
nods.
talking? Like, if we had to picture it, so we have like Rubin there with his.
Probably like the barrel that's right behind
I
him.
believe they call
That's
it
a huge barrel.
I believe they call it
Yeah.
a demijohn.
A what?
He's like,
A demijohn.
Interesting. Continue.
when like you're lifting something heavy and you have to stand still for a second. Sometimes like you put it on your leg or your thigh, so you're not like fucking up your back.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's doing that as he's like trying to, as Tamacti's standing in front of him. He's got this heavy ass barrel.
Why are you keeping that?
No, I'm throwing it in the building over there. We're going to burn it.
Oh, okay. You need some
Would
help?
you like to help?
Yeah, sure.
Yes, please.
Tamacti will start gathering all of the wine. First of all, I suppose he'll walk over to.
Did you use the arrow keys for that?
I did.
That's sweet.
He'll walk over to the. Oh God, what have I done?
Yeah, please fuck off.
I'm not sure what happened here.
I fucking hate you. Why did I get
There we
this
go.
tool for us?
Here we go. Hold on. I got it. I just gotta walk. Just gotta.
I'm watching him. What the
Please,
fuck?
for the love of God. There you go.
There you
Thank
go.
Thank you. Okay. Tamacti will walk over to Race, is his name, right?
Yeah, Race. Rayse.
And sort of put a hand on his shoulder. I can only imagine what you've gone through. Please allow me to help. And he would start gathering up some of these bottles of wine.
I welcome any help. You're free by all means. I just want to be out of here, out of this place.
As do we all.
Where are you from?
Lots
You
of
don't-
places.
You don't sound like a Northman.
No, I am not a Northman.
He continues going about stashing away wine bottles, I guess.
Yep. Tamacti doesn't.
Not really one for small chat, I guess.
Tamacti doesn't carry on the conversation any further, and he'll start grabbing a bunch of. Is there like some sort of hempen burlap sack around, or?
Nope, just a shit ton of crates and barrels and bottles, smaller crates and other
Okay.
barrels. Oh, actually, you know what? There's some sacks tucked away behind all these crates.
All right. Tamacti will walk over around behind the crate, and he'll grab a sack off the ground.
Okay. And what are you? To what
he'll-
purpose are you going to use these sacks for?
To throw the wine bottles in so that I can carry more of them.
Okay.
And he's gonna start loading a sack up with wine bottles.
Got you.
I guess to be fair, we could have just gathered them all in a pile there and burnt them separately.
Yeah, I guess you could like just burn all the buildings.
Yeah, we could just burn the whole place. It's not like there's anything of value.
Not like the people are gonna come back to live here, so because they're all dead.
I mean, Race might want to sell the property. I didn't want to burn down everything if we could help it.
We're gonna
Don't worry.
come
I'm
over
just planning
to,
on burning the cellar.
While you guys are gathering up all the wine wherever it is that you may be gathering it, or deciding to change on your gathering location, whatever you're doing, I want to come over to Gabriel, who opens up this set of double doors, and you find that this building, the whole atmosphere around you guys is very quiet. It's like an oddly quiet sort of atmosphere, and you don't know this in character, but out of character. Last session, Rubin had taken care of two of the sort of diseased people in the room to your right as you open these double doors. The door leading into that room on your right is closed, as is the door in front of you, but you find that this entry room that you've just stepped into is very decorated. There are wine barrels that are like cut in half and put up against the wall with a little table underneath it for like just decorative stuff, a couple swords crossed over a shield with some kind of like plant flora decorated under around the edges of the shield, and a table with some barrels underneath it just for decoration. They're likely empty, but yeah. And then the walls are kind of like nice stone, like cut stone, just like the rest of the facility.
I will check the one on the right first. Check in here, see if there's anyone.
You find that there's a bunch of rotted food on the table. The two figures that are here are just slumped over against the window, with blood sort of pooled up around from the wounds on both of their heads, likely Rubin's handiwork. And then there are two fires that are still like smoldering, with a couple like there's a plate of chicken on top one of the fires, and it has been burned to like a crisp. The bones are still there, but they're just like charred, and the rest of it is just burned off of it.
Very well.
This room in itself, like the whole aesthetic of it, appears very kitchen or mess hall for the vineyard.
All right, I will step out, seeing as there's nothing, no threat here. I'm just checking for possible lurkers that are still around.
Mm-hmm.
Now I'll enter this one. I suppose I will climb up the steps.
Yeah, you find that there are wine bottles decorating the walls there at a shelf, and there are a bunch of like crated vegetables like potatoes, apples, cabbage, lettuce, all of it just kind of like nasty and flies buzzing around it.
Yeah,
and
it's not
as you make your way up to the second floor, up the stairs that kind of have like two sort of L-shaped bends in them, you find yourself on the second floor, where there's once again, this whole facility is just very chef cooking oriented. So there are like more vegetables along the walls, some cookbooks, a fire that is smoldering now, a couple of tables for preparing food to be cooked, a bunch of utensils strewn about, and a candle that's still burning actually on the table, with like a couple of goblets of wine, one of them knocked over onto the floor.
Are the goblets empty?
One of them is empty as it's knocked over, but the other one is still like full, and then there's like a pitcher as well.
Got it. I guess I'll need to bring a barrel or something. There's no barrel here. Don't want to burn down the whole building for a pitcher. So I'm going to go upstairs to the last floor.
Okay. As you make your way up the stairs...
Oh, this barricade is zombie apocalypse in here.
It appears very barricaded. Yes, there's a wardrobe that is kind of put into its way. One of the beds has been like lifted up and like draped over the railing at the top of the stairs. There are there's some other furniture like a crate and a painting and some other things just like barricaded there to stop anyone from getting up the stairs.
Okay. And what about the railing behind me? Like, is that also, or could I climb up there?
The railing behind you, the bed is kind of like draped over it, but if you were to push the bed up out of the way, maybe, and topple it back onto the floor away from the railing, you could probably climb up there. But
all right,
but it seems like this person was really just...
I know.
That's true.
I know I could, but I'll try pushing the bed first. But I
seems
could
like-
just echo cheese
It seems like whoever is up here is really intent on.
on staying here alone.
Yeah.
But we're gonna stop that because who knows, might be a baddie.
I'd say with your strength score, there's no problem pushing the bed off.
All right, and now I'll scale the little railing here to climb up top.
As you start to climb over, you hear a gasp, and there's a figure over towards what appears to be a window.
Just get off the
they're-
bed here.
They're wearing sort of like a hood over their face, and they're dressed in like a shoddy-looking robe with patchwork on it, and boots that are slightly tattered. As well as up here is like a queen-sized or king-sized bedroom with or a king-sized bed, I should say, with like a bear rug draped over it. Probably the master of the vineyard.
Yeah, this is a rich place.
Yeah, it looks like there's some different colored tinctures and bottles across their table. Some books lining a shelf, a couple chests, and but no food. It looks like they've exhausted all of their food up here.
No, they say never trust an alchemist. Climb up there and I kind of put my hands up. I'm not here to hurt you.
He still with like hood up, kind of like concealing his forehead and eyes, like down to like the halfway down the bridge of his nose. He like takes a step forward towards you, like a slow step forward.
Mm-hmm.
You do anything?
No, I kind of just wait and see. Does he speak?
He finishes that step, and then like that step turns into like a full sort of sprint,
Oh, okay.
and tries to like tackle you into the chest that's open behind you.
Sure.
Do you just let it happen, or are you trying to roll against it?
I'll roll against it.
It's a strength saving throw.
Yes, sir. Strength saving throw. 27.
Okay, a 27. You definitely succeed from it. Do you just how do you go about succeeding from it?
I will, as he's trying to tackle me, I'm gonna just step to the side, and I'm gonna grab his arm and just kind of turn him around and fold him on the ground.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's very.
Just try to, I'm gonna put an end to any thoughts he has about winning this.
He responds to you only in grunts and like harsh sort of hisses and stuff like that. And in the process of you like grabbing him, turning him around, and smashing him into the ground, you see that his hood falls off of his head, and like the back of his scalp is just missing. It's like you can see down to the skull. It's just like,
So he's infected, or he's whatever the
it
hell
appears-
happened to these
appears
people.
So, yeah.
Because I've been trying. I was gonna pull the hood off and just see if he was still like human, but doesn't seem that way. Or at least a normal human would be dead with the scalp missing off their,
Yeah,
their head.
if you take a close look at it, I mean, since you are like right behind him,
Yeah.
I'd say you could probably notice this.
Grappling
It looks
him at
like
this
he was
point.
just like itching his head so much that he just
Yeah.
like got down to like past the skin and all the way down to the bone.
I just kind of sigh, and I'll keep him on the ground. And I'll pull a dagger from like my boot, and I'll just stab it in his throat.
There's like a wet sort of slice, the piercing noise, and you hear it like hit the floor underneath him, and then like as you withdraw it, it's just like the pool starts to form beneath him, and there's like a wet sort of gurgling that subsides over the course of the next 20-30 seconds.
All right, I let go of his head and kind of step off the body, seeing as he's dead now.
Yeah.
Shame. I will search around the room, just see if anything of note. He seems like he's sort of important, or at least the room is important. Whoever was here was probably the master of the whole place, or the proprietor.
Yeah, it would seem like whoever was here would have been that person. I think it's fair to assume that by this guy's attire, it was not this guy.
Yeah, because he looks poor as hell, so I'm assuming it's not him, but there might be something of use in the room, so I'm just gonna start looking around for anything of note.
You notice there's like a lump underneath the other bed in the room. It's like off in the corner underneath the sheets. There's a lump there.
I'll go look.
Okay. If you pull back the blanket to look at whatever it is, it's a much better dressed figure. A corpse, if you will.
So I assume this was the man.
Yeah.
This is an imposter. This
I think
fucking.
that's fair to assume. And they're just like the stench. Now that you pull back this blanket, the stench hits you, and it's just like it's just vomit inducing.
I cover my mouth. Step back.
Yeah.
All right. Anything on this table or any of these books seem they have anything of note? It seems like there's a lot of potion making here, so maybe the wine was made here or something about it. I don't know.
Like I said, there are a couple of like different colored bottles and tinctures on the table there in front of you. I'd say maybe two of them that are not like drained and empty.
All right, I'll grab the two. We'll have someone examine them at the camp.
Okay.
All right. Nothing else of note in the room. At least doesn't seem that way.
Doesn't seem that way. I mean, unless you like start digging through all the chests and stuff like that, you might be able to find something. But
yeah, sure. Why not? Not like I got anything else to do. And if there is any wine there or something, we'll find out. So I'll go through this guy's body, just see if he has anything on him. Doesn't seem, he seems like a peasant. So, but after that, we'll go through the chests.
Okay. Then as you start to kind of pull away all the obstructions that would be in the way of these chests, so that you can get to them, we're gonna come back over to Tamacti and Rubin and Race. And the three of you are collectively just going about moving everything back to the cellar, right?
Yeah, I do have a question though.
Yeah.
There's a door back here.
A door.
Yes. Behind these barrels.
So there is.
And I only just noticed it.
Perhaps a scullery of some sort.
Oh, so there is a door there.
It is something. Is this something I am able to search?
I don't know. You tell me.
Rubin steps up after having noticed it and reaches a hand towards the door to see if it opens.
And so, you find this little tiny room tucked away. Do you notify Tamacti of it?
He could probably just see you
behind it, because it's like an open
he's not creeping along.
True.
An open archway. Tamacti will set down the bag and go to assist.
Okay. And by now you guys have moved like half of you've sort of like quickly been moving back and forth, rolling the barrels, and Rubin is like getting behind this table and looking around, and you see there's this weird, curious door here. And then Tamacti catches note of it when he's like walking back after transporting some of the wine. And you open this doorway.
Oh,
and tucked away here is a small little room with a couple crates. Perhaps they're empty, just used for like tables, essentially. With a little candle, which is not actually lit. It is in the map, but it's not lit in my world.
Gotcha.
And there's a little backpack and a bedroll laid out across like a makeshift cot made of wood, and a chest.
Okay.
No figures here, no bodies, no anything like that.
I'm just gonna carefully like step in.
And the room itself is like 6 feet by 6 feet.
Gotcha. He's gonna. Does the chest appear to be locked? This one over here.
No, it does not appear to be locked.
I'm just gonna unlatch it then, and look back towards Tamacti, which is clearly there, and then go about opening the thing.
You find some clothes and some tools, along with a small, little tinier chest, like maybe 4 inches deep by 6 inches wide and 4 inches tall, like wider than it is tall and lengthwise.
Gotcha. I can open up the tinier chest.
And in this tiny little chest is a collection of coins from the Burok and from Astoya and from Castanella and from Charnel.
Oh, that's neat. He pulls it out of the chest and motions Tamacti to come over.
Tamacti will step into the room.
And here, take a look. And he hands him the tiny little chest.
Tamacti would grab the tiny little chest and look inside.
And like I said, inside of it is just a bunch of coins from all over Etheris.
Can I try and... do any of them look old? Or like I'm trying to gauge kind of the age of this stash here.
Some of them definitely do look older than others. Yeah, it's possible that this may have been somebody's kind of like collection. And judging by the fact that there's no like There's no signs of breaking an entry here. There's no signs of somebody like throwing things around in a rush or anything like that. It's possible this person has not been here in some time.
I see.
Otherwise, they probably would have taken those coins with them if they left.
Yeah. What else did you find, Rubin?
Clothes and tools. Neither of which really help us. But I figured you might be interested in that.
You want me to hang on to them?
He nods.
All right. Tamacti will unshoulder his pack and sort of shove the small chest, the coin box in wherever it can fit.
Mm-hmm. When you put that into your inventory, just put it in as like coin collection from Etheris or something like that.
I'm going to put it as box O coins.
Okay, you might want to put it in as something a little bit more specific so that not only you remember, but I remember. Because I think we had the same situation recently with STT RP where like you put something down and we didn't know what it was.
But I recall that situation. That's because it was only a single letter. Which is, I mean...
Anyway, as Tamacti's doing that, Rubin's gonna kind of like shift past him and continue moving with the rest of stuff with Race, if he's still around.
Gotcha.
Yeah, there he is.
Race continues to go about moving things around, and you find anything in there?
Coins. That's about it. Clothes.
Coin.
So looked like somebody's coin collection. It's not yours, is it?
No, not mine. No. Fellow stops by once every couple months. Travels quite a bit.
I see. Was he here when this unfortunate occurrence took place?
No, he actually left. What was it? A week or so ago. He doesn't work here or anything.
And when did you all bottle this wine?
Couple weeks ago.
Did he help in that process?
No, he never helps. He's son of the man that runs the vineyard.
I see. What is his name?
I never quite asked him. Last name should be, if he carries the last name of his father, should be Slain.
Very well. Well, best to get back to work, huh? Get this stuff burnt, and then we can leave.
Right, and we're gonna shorthand the rest of this stuff here in a moment, but first we're gonna go about Gabriel searching the chest up here and searching the man that was up here attacking him. You find nothing on the man that was attacking you.
Figured.
Who knows when he got up here, if he had... Who knows? But as you're searching the chest, you find that one of them looks like it was locked and it still has the lock in place, but the lock is like unlatched. And so you just kind of like pick it up and toss it to the side, I guess. And in that chest, you find a collection of fine clothes. Do you just like glance at it, or?
Yeah, I kind of take them, put it on the bed, like worthless for us really. So I don't really care about fine clothes.
Okay. Underneath all of those clothes was a. You know what? Give me just a second. What I like to do when you guys catch me off guard with things that I'm like, okay, there could be a magical item hidden in here. I open the Griffin saddlebag document. Griffin saddlebag is awesome. That is. If you don't know who he is, then go check out his work. He's on Instagram. He posts a lot of free magical items there. Go check it out. Otherwise, go buy his book because it's fucking amazing. But I drag my cursor to a random spot on like the little slider on the right side of the document, and and pretty much whatever I land on is just like, all right, that's it. In this case, you find
something cool.
In this case, you find a small pair of daggers.
That sounds cool.
They have like sort of silvery and like etched and decorated hilts and handguards that come up to curved blades that have sort of like a purple hue to the steel.
Sounds pretty cool, actually. I'm gonna check them out. All right, I take them.
Okay.
So I got that, and I got the 2 vials of unknown liquids from this room, and we will We will leave the place. Actually, is there any wine in here before I forget? Doesn't seem like it.
Does not seem like it.
Okay. Wait. I don't like the way you said that. I'm gonna look more profoundly at the...
I mean, I think at this point it'd be safe to just burn it all
Yeah,
down.
right? I think, you know what? Fuck it, man.
Because someone's going to wander in, they're going to grab one bottle, and then the zombie apocalypse
You and
starts.
Garrett. I'm going to torch the whole Umbrella Corp building down. So I'm going to...
The whole Umbrella Corp, that's it.
You can't risk having a single sample anywhere.
Yeah.
That's how the apocalypse starts, man. He's right. I've seen zombie movies. I ain't getting trapped.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're gonna have to kill Race too.
All right.
Oh my god.
Yeah, you gotta
He
stop.
could be. He could
gotta
be.
stop
He was
the-
exposed.
He's a super
He
spreader.
could be a carrier.
He's a
yeah.
super spreader. Is there any oil around, like the kitchen?
There's definitely some lamp oil
All right.
in a couple of spots, I'd imagine. In your search for the building, I think if you were keeping an eye out for it, you were able to find some.
Sounds good.
Somewhere.
So if you're shorthanding their stuff, that's what I'm gonna do with my shorthanded thing. I'm gonna just fucking start pouring oil everywhere on the floor in this building. Make sure it really lights up good when I put a torch to it.
Got you. Okay. And shorthanding kind of the rest of what you guys are doing. If you had to briefly summarize what you're doing.
Yeah, Rubin. After everything's been loaded up that they could see, Rubin's stepping up to the brazier here and lighting one of his torches.
It's the brazier's out, actually. That's one that you
okay.
the fire from.
Yeah, that's true. Then he's just gonna take this torch here,
Okay.
like one of the other ones.
Yeah, one
and
like
maybe
freestanding torches that's like near one of the walls. I got
Yeah.
you.
He's gonna pull it off and march into the building. Oh no, there's a few barrels of wine that are already kind of spilled and stuff,
Okay.
and so he's just gonna set the torch down next to him.
Got you. And,
Put some fire or some of these papers and books on top of it and shit.
Yeah, and all like the floors and railings and stairs. That's all wood still. So like should catch and burn pretty well.
Yeah, he's gonna push over a couple lanterns too while he's at it.
What about Tamacti?
Tamacti's just sort of, it seems like everyone else has it well in hand. Actually, did anyone ever go and check out this other tower here? I don't believe they did.
Nope.
Which one? Yeah, no, go check it out. That's the last
Tamacti
one.
will go to investigate this tower over here.
It's also that building. in the
I
back
hear
where
your
you
arrow
look at.
keys clicking.
Yeah,
as you...
I love it.
What do you? That's the click of Tamacti's boot heels.
Yeah.
He's got spurs.
He's got spurs on.
I've got spurs.
That jingle, jangle, jingle.
jangle. Anyway,
Jingle, jangle.
yes, Tamacti will go ahead and head in there and do a little investigating.
Yeah, you find that there are two floors to this above ground level, and you have to go up a ladder, and you find like a sort of little floor door that you open up, and then you go up to the next floor, and then it's like, oh well, there's nothing here. Ladder all the way up to the next one, another floor door there, and as you make your way to the very top floor, you see there are windows that look out in every direction. There are sort of chests up here, which are stacked with like on the inside of them with expensive fabrics, and there are also two massive rugs that are pretty decorated.
God, people carried these things up 2 flights of ladders.
Yeah, I don't know. Ask Astalry Astra why he built that like this. Thanks, Astalry.
Yeesh.
I want to know his in-character reason.
We love
for having
Astalry
rugs up
Astra's.
here.
I'd like to talk to you about the labor involved in carrying heavy rolls of fabric up a ladder.
Yeah, what was your thought on that, Astalry?
Yeah, this chest is too big to fit through that hatch. I'm really wondering right
Anyway,
He's a great builder, by the
so,
way. If you're listening to the podcast and you're a fan of Talespire, go check out his works on Tales Tavern and Tales Bazaar. They're absolutely phenomenal. He puts a lot of work into showing them off in the pictures, which really go a long way to grab me as eye candy and draw me in to use them as a podcast.
Yeah, we here at the Split Party Podcast are big fans of, what did you say? He's a great builder. We love great builders.
Yeah, we love great builders.
Anyway, so chests are full of fabric, nothing else. I'm going to, Tamacti, rather, is going to gaze out the window and my apologies.
You're good.
My pizza roll's ready. In the direction of I don't know what to call, I guess the raiding party, to see if he can see them in the distance.
You can in the distance.
Okay. Everything looks copacetic with them. Doesn't look like they're
Yep.
in a
People are
murderous
fine.
frenzy.
Yeah, people are fine. They're just like sitting down. Kind of some of them are like sitting down back to back with each other to like because they have nothing else. It's just like planes here, pretty much. And so they're just like sitting down back to back. A lot of people are like sharpening their weapons and just getting antsy and ready to raid.
Okay, well that's good news. Tamacti is then going to head over to the opposite window and look towards Castelor and see if he can see anything in that direction.
You see the road heading out towards Castelor, and being like I said that it's just kind of like plains, and you're up in this tower. You make a perception.
I would love to. That is a 7.
You don't see anything of note. And as you are looking out, you realize that the sun is setting further and further. The brief glimpse of Astoyan sunset that you had is starting to dwindle and turn into nighttime.
But it's like, does it feel like a more natural night?
Yeah, it's just normal ass nighttime.
Like, but I guess I don't know what I'm asking. It doesn't feel like when the area was plunged into sort of the darkness that it was, it felt like sort of artificial, I guess, to a degree, right?
It wasn't magical in nature, so to speak. Like somebody kind of cast like dispel on it to get rid of it or anything like that, but it was definitely like an unnatural darkness. Yeah.
Okay. And this feels different than that.
This is just like normal sunset, kind of nighttime. The moons will be out. Well, one of the moons is like completely black right now. Sirion is, and Acreon is just like a sliver of a blue crescent moon left in the sky as it's starting to rise on the horizon.
Okay. Well, Tamacti will just do a quick scan of sort of the other two windows, the surrounding area, to make sure that there's no sort of immediate danger to his personage or that of his friends, and satisfied, hopefully, seeing that there isn't anything around, he will just head back down the ladder.
Okay.
Checking for barrels or bottles of wine as he does.
None there.
Sweet. All right. Well, then he will, he'll head back down into the courtyard. I can't actually see my token. I think I got it stuck in a layer between the layers.
You're pretty sick.
Yeah. He's just going to wait behind or beside this bonfire, rather, and see to it that his friends don't get jumped by any night creatures as they're busy committing mass arson.
Okay. And so you guys, in summary, it sounds like you guys are just lighting everything on fire.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
What about Race? He has this last bottle of wine, and he looks like he's going to toss it into the storage.
I hold his arm.
Okay.
Well, and Rubin's standing in front of him, like walking out. So
We are going to keep one.
Okay.
If there's an antidote that could be made from studying it, then maybe we can save those in Castelor. And who knows?
You have alchemists with you.
I am certain there's at least one person in this entire raiding party that knows potions. Mother Ishka might be one. I kind of look towards Rubin.
and Rubin offers a little bit of a.
Unless you know
shrug.
someone in Morgong, from what you have spoken with them.
I wouldn't say I've really spoken to any of them.
Speaking of the clan, where is the one who was coming with you? Whatever
I
he is.
Haven't the faintest clue. He disappeared.
I noticed that. Kind of look around. Now suddenly coming onto the realization that someone could have been looking at us the whole time, a bit creeped out. Can't find him, so, well, shit. I take the bottle from his hand. I will hold on to it. But for the rest, it can burn. I hand him my torch so he can light the last building on fire. And I turn towards Tamacti,
to Race?
Yeah, to Race. You can do the honors.
So you take the bottle and he heads off to the last building then and sets it on fire.
I found nothing in my building. Did either of you find anything in yours?
I found 2 vials of some potions. I'm not sure what they are, and I found 2 daggers as well. But other than that, and I believe I found the master or proprietor of the place. He has been killed by some peasant who made his home up there.
Interesting. I can identify those potions for you.
Sure, we can do that once we are back with the raiding party.
Mm-hmm.
And I assume you can also do the daggers. They seem magical.
Yes, I would be happy to do that for you.
Very well. Anything else left to do here? I believe everything has been done.
Then let us leave.
We'll
Okay.
gather by the gate and wait for Race to set the last building ablaze. And I'll pocket this last bottle of wine in my satchel.
Okay. And then
I'm carrying the end of the world in my pockets.
as you guys leave the vineyard with it like entirely up in flames, pretty much. The roofs are wooden and straw, and the walls, some of them are wood. The floors are wood.
Catch
a lot of
pretty
wood here.
easily.
Everything, yeah, especially with the aid of all the
lamp
high
oil.
alcohol content wine and lamp oil. And you guys make your way away from the buildings, and
We'll sort of go back to like the spot that I was in when I was scouting and wait for the Northmen to catch up with us, because there's no point walking back them just to walk back here.
well, they did send you guys ahead. Like, they all stopped and sent you guys.
Oh, okay.
ahead,
I thought they were gonna follow, but like at a distance. So all right, screw it. Then we'll go back to them.
Okay. And as we start to make our way back to the rest of those figures, you guys are walking. You're like halfway there, and this weird sort of starry figure appears beside you guys, like just out of thin air.
Oh, he's back. I look towards him. Where were you? I don't even know if he can talk, but
He looks at you, and like his eyes are just like purple, sort of glowing spheres deep in his sockets, and like he doesn't even like look directly at you. He side eyes you kind of, and then just goes back to looking forward and continuing walking.
I look to Rubin. Do they speak?
Rubin offers a shrug.
Again, I haven't spoken to anyone yet. You know as much as I do.
I'll keep walking then. Doesn't seem like this person, if it's a person, doesn't seem like it can even talk. So
Okay, as we're headed back towards the rest of the army, then we're gonna take a quick 5 here. Okay, so we're back. We resume with you guys making your way back to the army. This weird, quiet, reclusive, disembodied figure is kind of there with you, and he just kind of appeared out of nowhere after you guys left the vineyard. And with you is Race, and he is walking there in tow with you guys. Seems a little bit skittish or nervous the whole way that you guys are walking back, and you probably notice that this disembodied figure is glancing at him from time to time.
I stay close to Race because I promised to protect him. So
Yeah.
and I'm really tempted to kill this disembodied motherfucker too. So it'd be a good excuse.
You guys make your way back to the army, though, eventually, unless you do actually kill this guy.
Nah.
But you guys
We
make your
won't
way
do
back
it.
to the army, and like I said before, a lot of them are just kind of like sitting down, just kind of taking a rest for a moment, because it's likely that being this far from Castelor, they'll probably just push through the night and attack like while everyone's in their bed, if you guys make it to Castelor, you know. And a few of the leaders from the clans are like, they're not the official leaders of every clan, because those guys are still up in the north, but these are like the official leaders of these little
The
raiding
raiding
parties.
party. Yeah.
And so these detachments from the clans are down here, and their leaders are there kind of all in a line waiting for you guys to return. And you see that as you guys approach, this disembodied figure quickens his step a little bit, looks over his shoulder at you guys once, and then continues on to meet up with the leader of Morgon, who is at like the leftmost end of the line on your perspective.
Well, that's sus. Could Gabriel kill him?
Thorgrim calls out to you guys. So, what did you find?
Tragedy.
I nodded. That's a pretty good word.
What kind?
Absolutely nothing of worth except disease and death. The people there were already dead. The place is a mess.
He kind of like narrows his brows a little bit and looks over like down the line to his left side where like Limgree and a couple of the other clans are lined up beside him. Limgree, Rune, and Mithra. Rune being pretty adept with magic, and you know, Mithra being kind of like more cultured. What kind of disease?
I take out the wine bottle. I believe it came from this. Or at least this is what he says. And I point to Race, the only survivor of the place. He did not drink the wine. Everyone else was... I'm unsure. Sort of undead, but not at the same time. They kept gnawing at their skin and, well, using their nails to peel off their skin and their bones. They were all crazy, it seems, and they did not have their minds.
As you guys finally make your way like face to face, like arms reach length from all these important figures, the leader of Morgong and the disembodied figure trail off and walk back towards the rest of their clan, like leaving this whole concession. And as you mention, like the wine and disease and stuff like that, and that everyone was dead, Volgar's leader as well kind of abandons this little meeting and goes back over to the rest of his people. The leader of Seer, though, does stay, and he's kind of like oddly watching.
This wine goes to the north and half of Astoria. You're saying that?
I nod. I am saying exactly that. I have kept that one bottle and I set ablaze the entirety of the courtyard. They sent a shipment out to Castellar recently. It should have arrived two days ago, perhaps. So, when we get there, we will see what damage it caused, if there is anything left.
He draws in a breath, kind of clenches his jaw.
I brought the bottle back in case we had someone who was adept in studying various liquids to try and make out what it is.
If this wine goes to Castellar, then it could go anywhere across the world.
I nod.
The people will trade it without opening it, send off trading caravans to Markovia,
Which is
Fallahart, Rundheim.
why we need to get to Castellar as soon as possible. Send an advance party if need be, but we need to double our pace at least.
Thorgrim crosses his arms and
This is bigger than just a raid now. This is about possibly saving the world from whatever this is.
The leader from Rune pipes up and says,
I agree with both Thorgrim and Gabriel that this is bigger than the raid. We have to go now.
The question is, will the rest of your people agree with this sentiment?
Seer kind of squints his eyes a little bit, looking at you.
My people will. Of course they will.
When I say your people, I generalize. Will all Northmen be willing to set aside the needs of their own for the needs of the many?
Well, it seems like two clans were too busy to listen to this meeting. I kind of eye off the two that left.
I think 3 left, right?
No, just Volgar
Two.
and Morgong.
Yep.
Okay, so Limgree, Seer.
My two boys and the traders are still here.
Okay.
Seer's leader kind of like looks at Tamacti for a moment, and then to Gabriel, then Limgree's leader, and then back to Tamacti.
Look, it doesn't matter if the rest of the Northmen are willing to put aside the raid. If my clan is in Rune and Mithra, the merchants in Limgree, then that's enough to make a difference. Fuck the others.
I nod.
We're going to go.
Very well.
I agree.
And he turns like on a dime his kind of wandering people and shouting like already and like raising his arms up.
Damn, I like this guy.
Stand up.
That's my boy. I looked to Thorgrim. Do you have anyone who could study this wine? Try to figure out what it is. Maybe we could figure out a way to cure it. Because like I said, I do not think these people are dead. Whatever is afflicting them is afflicting their minds. But their bodies are still clinging on to life.
Thorgrim looks between the leader of Rune and then the leader of Mithra.
Yeah, I look at them too when I say that, just generally to the guys that are still left.
Either of you? You think that you could... my people, I'm sure that none of them have any idea where to even begin. And Mithra's leader shakes his head like gently, and Rune's leader, which is the first of the leaders that you spoke to on land, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
He actually introduced himself as...
I totally forgot.
I don't think... Oh yeah, he's Felden.
Yeah, that's what it is.
Yeah, he extends a hand out to take it.
Sure.
I'll take care of it.
I give it to him. Careful with this.
We'll send most of the others forward, and we'll catch up with you. I'll keep a couple of my mages behind, and we'll study this.
Very well.
For now, the rest of Rune's warriors will be with your people, Thorgrim, he says, and Thorgrim kind of like nods once, and they clasp arms, and the leader of Rune just turns and marches off.
I looked at Thorgrim. Well, I suppose it depends on all of you when we are ready to go. We have some time to make.
I think that we're ready now.
Very well.
Says Thorgrim.
Gather your people and whoever is coming with, and we will gather here and depart. Perhaps try to speak to the other clans as well if they will join us. Morgan and... who was the other that left? I do not remember.
Volgir.
Those. I believe Morgan will know everything since their agent is briefing. I do not know where he was, but I know he saw the entire altercation.
As you're talking about this, you see the rest of Clan Morgong start to stand up, and it looks like they're facing back the way that you guys came.
So, like, back towards the coast, or you mean back
towards the coast?
Pussies, man. What else should I expect from the rats?
Like, they're either gonna go do something else, or they're just like, this is a lost raid.
Fuck
like,
it, next raid, yeah, next city.
something, who knows?
I looked towards them, I looked at Thorgrim. It seems I have my answer.
Yeah, it seems so. I never really liked Morgong anyways.
I hope Vasily meets them on the boats.
Jesus Christ.
That's a funny thought, actually. But yeah, the rest of the clans are standing up and getting ready to leave, and Volgar, I'm actually kind of at a loss for what Volgar would be doing right now.
Damn.
I think that they
flip a coin, pussy.
they stand up and they're gonna start moving along with you guys as well.
Ooh. All right.
But who knows if they're like fully informed?
Yeah. So
But
Morgan,
honestly,
they missed the fucking meeting, so they don't even know what's happening.
Yeah.
I would say that Seer is the big win here, because according to our highly scientific chart, Seer is currently in the cringe-looking tier. So the fact that they're willing to come and help, that's
I
big
know.
news.
I like them. Morgang are definitely part of the opposition. When we go back north and all this is dealt with, I will have their clan cleansed.
I'm like, okay.
All right, wow.
All right.
Don't worry, they're on the list now. I do not forget.
And the whole wild race is like staying pretty much at your hip.
Oh,
It's-
right.
it's not
I will look to Thorgrim. This man here is the only survivor of that village. I promised him safety if you would keep him with your people. He is a good man, and he has helped us in the village destroy what remained of the wine.
And at the moment that you say, like, this man's the only survivor, you see that Thorgrim is already reaching for like the axe at his waist, and then you're like, you promised him that nothing would happen. He's like, oh, sorry.
Yeah. He's like, shit, my man.
Yeah. The race like tenses up for a moment.
He is not infected. Believe me, he would not be lucid if he were.
Right. You said that they would what? Scratch the skin from themselves.
Most of them were hiding in their rooms, talking to themselves and, yes, scratching their own skin off their bodies.
Compulsively, they seemed to have a need to
itch.
Stimulate themselves either by consuming whatever they could find that was edible or scratching their skin off.
And as the clans begin to all sort of move along, in this time in kind of like a diamond sort of formation where the merchants are up at the head, not really like as spread out as they were before. Now that there's one less clan, or maybe just it's more of just a blob now. But anyway, so they're moving forward. The merchants are at the head, and you guys are now walking and talking.
Did they use weapons against you?
No,
not the one that I fought. Only the bare hands.
No, they just tried to bite me.
Then it should be an easy fight. If they can't bite us, we have chain and letters.
True, but the problem is that they do not seem to feel any sort of fear. So they will attack relentlessly. They do not care for their own safety or for anything except to feed.
Right.
That is the risk with enemies like this. They are easy to dispatch, but in great numbers they can be overwhelming.
Did you happen to see how long it takes for the sickness to set in?
I shrug. No, when we got there it was already too late. I looked towards Race. Perhaps Race would know, but he was locked up in the in the cellar the entire time. I'm not sure if he saw any transform before him.
I saw one of them. It was, we were just having dinner at the mess hall. Eating chicken, actually, and drinking wine. And all of a sudden, one of them just stood up and threw back his chair. We were about halfway through the meal. It wasn't pretty. He immediately attacked the other. I panicked and ran out the door.
So he drank his wine, and in the same dinner, so let's assume within 20 or so minutes, he became ravenous for, well, whatever he could find.
Right.
Or perhaps he could have drank that wine before. Not sure. It could be the wine of the dinner that set him off course, or it could be some wine he drank beforehand. Either way, I believe when we get to Castellor, some will already be gone. If not the entire city.
This information doesn't bode well.
No, it does not.
And what of your mage? Where did he go?
I look, because I didn't see him leave. I look towards Rubin. That is
Thorgrim,
a
looks around.
good question. Where did Vova go?
He left for the Raven Court after hearing news of this.
And he motions towards the bottle.
Was this, and Thorgrim kind of like looks up to the sky. This is, was that the Raven Court? Is that what happened? Why is?
What you mean the sunlight?
Yeah.
I don't believe so.
I'm
He
assuming
looked as surprised as I did.
I'm assuming he is going back to the Raven Court to figure out why the sun just appeared in Ostoya.
I watched it race across the sky like it was just a blanket being pulled away.
I nod. We saw the same thing. It seemed to be heading south, or being pulled towards the south.
Towards Nova Stoya.
And many more cities in that direction. We are pretty much every other city is south of us at this point. But yes.
Thorgrim kind of like itches at this hairline and
Right. Just another thing on the list, I suppose.
I nod. Once we get to Castellar, the only good news about this entire wine situation is that these people, when infected by whatever this is, they do not seem to keep any of their mental faculties or their intelligence. So if their plan was to distribute it from Castellar, well, if there only these people remain, they will be too stupid to think of doing it. So it will stay there. But there could be agents that were in Castellar working to distribute it. I'm not sure where it could have gone after that.
That is some comfort, I suppose.
Malkovia, I think, is the next city, at least on a main road.
You guys are still moving along, and so there's like a road right from this vineyard to Castellar. And being that the merchants are kind of the spear point right now, they're walking mainly across the road. Specifically, Thorgrim is walking in the road. Probably you guys are close enough to talk to him, so you guys are also walking in the road. And you see what looks to be a broken down set of wagons up ahead. You guys have been traveling for maybe 2 or 3 miles by now.
Oh, there are barrels on the carts?
There are crates and there are barrels, and one of the wagons is like tipped over, and the horse next to it is dead, and the other wagon is just stopped there, and the horse is like just standing up.
I'm gonna rush over there.
Yeah, head over there.
Yeah, Rubin's right there with them.
Where are you going?
To investigate.
Hopefully that's the car that was supposed to make it to Castellar and it crashed here. Going to go see the barrels if there's any wine. And I kind of, as I'm kind of saying this as I'm running over, but like turning around, I turn back and keep going towards the carts.
Thorgrim jogs up behind you guys. Race hobbles along with him. And as you guys make your way up to these carts, you see now even closer. It's dark, so you only saw the silhouettes at first. But even closer now, you see that Weasel is up ahead here, just kind of like standing there watching the carts. And he seems to be standing over a bunch of bodies that are like rotting and have flies gathered up around them.
Weasel was he's my scout friend.
Your scout, yeah.
Yeah, I remember now. We're good. I look towards Weasel as I kind of rush up behind him. How long have you been here? Good to see you again.
Just a little bit. They tried to attack me. I had to defend myself.
How
And
did
you
they
see,
attack you?
They just ran at me, tried to bite me. One of them came pretty close to it.
And he like looks at his arm, and there's like a.
Was the cart already crashed when you got here?
It was. One of them was just huddled up in the back of the cart, rocking around. I tried to speak to him, and he just ran at me.
I look for tracks, Prowler, like if any cart made it out of here. You know, like if there's any fresh cart tracks continuing after the crash, like towards Castellor.
Make either a perception investigation.
All right.
I'd like to assist him with that as well.
Okay.
You know, seeing what Gabriel's doing, Ruben's going to do the same.
All right. Perception. It will be at
It can even be a survival, I would argue, because like that's
true.
the tracks.
Survival is usually looking for track. Oh yeah, I'll do survival. Screw it. 12, even with advantage. Yuck.
Do you gain anything from your background? that
Oh,
assists in
actually, I think I might. Let's see. Track quarry. Let's see. You just oh yeah, I can add my whatever that dice is called for survival checks to track things, people, stuff like that. So
that? Okay, yeah, 1d6 is what you
1d6,
add because
alright.
you guys are second level.
2.
So
Yuck.
total of 14. I would say that you don't see any tracks.
Fair enough.
You know that this cart was sent out a couple days ago. It's possible the tracks could have been covered up by now, or just who knows. But
And any footprints heading off the crash site as well?
doesn't appear to be.
All right. Doesn't look like any other carts made it after this one. Or if they did, well, rain or something covered up the tracks.
Thorgrim says to Weasel,
You're going to stay with us for now. There's something going on. You haven't had any of the wine right yet.
and Weasel kind of like looks at the cart and then back to Thorgrim and then back at the cart and back to Thorgrim.
No, not yet.
Good.
I'm
No
gonna
one will have any.
I'd like to
I'm gonna roll an
check
insight.
that. Yeah. The time for trusting individuals
nine.
is long over.
Can we all roll inside?
18.
You know what? I trust my boy. That's my scout friend. I can't.
Oh no, he's looking at the card.
I know. Yeah, he's so suspect.
He appears genuine.
From the 18,
Yeah.
There you go.
I sort of turn towards Thorgrim and give a terse nod.
I take out Actually, I checked the barrels. Any of them like cracked? You know, or like they spilled on the ground or something? Or are they all still
definitely,
closed?
like one of the barrels actually cracked and spilled all across the ground.
I'm gonna
as
go
the
smell.
wagon tipped over.
If it's wine.
It is wine.
Okay. I looked at Thorgrim. Stand back. I'm going to burn this entire thing.
Also, Preller, are we in grassland? I mean, I know. I said it was like kind of
Yeah,
like
it's like
wetland.
grassland, kind of. Yeah, it's definitely not
So
forest. That's
favorite
for sure.
terrain.
It's
Okay.
like swampy grassland. I'd say you guys are getting more and more inland, and Astoria is kind of shitty grassland, but like it's still grassland.
I'm gonna take out my tinder box and light up the wine that's on the ground. It should set ablaze fairly easily.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'd say it probably does. And the flames race up onto the wagon and begin to burn the wagon and across the cart and sizzle across the flesh of the dead rotting corpses here that are like hanging out of the tipped over wagon.
Seems like our travelers took some wine when they were on the horses. Hopefully none of them made it to Castello.
I suppose that we'll find out.
At the very least, less wine will have made it there, which can only be good.
Thorgrim lets out a lengthy sigh. If we're lucky, anything would have been confined to perhaps just an inn or something.
I nod. The thing is, I am not sure how this, if this thing can spread or not. They seem very intent on biting people. I look to Weasel. Did any of them get to you?
Weasel looks over at his like arm spot where he was just
Yeah.
looking when he said that one of them almost got to him. And
Oh,
there's like teeth marks on it.
But it doesn't like penetrate the
It
skin.
doesn't look like it penetrates.
No broken skin.
Got it. That's good. That's good. Otherwise, I might have to put you down to the sword. Well, it doesn't seem like he was bitten. Like I said, they could just be trying to eat people. There's no proof any of this spreads, but it could.
Or, I remember my siblings trying to bite me all the time as kids. Perhaps they just go mad or something, or their only means of fighting.
I know. It does seem that they only use their teeth or their hands. The one who fought me tried to tackle me, so they have some martial skills still, or instincts, rather.
Right, then we should keep moving.
says Thorgrim.
I nod. Nothing left to see here.
And the rest of the army kind of catches up by now, and everyone starts to move around the like now alight wagons.
Mm-hmm. If you have any more scouts, Thorgrim, perhaps we could send one to look if any other carts made it from this convoy. I could not see anything, but I assume your scouts are better than I am.
He ponders for a
Since
moment.
we want to keep Weasel here.
I think that we'll just keep everyone consolidated for now.
As you wish.
And you guys begin moving along. And in moving along, I don't know, unless you do anything,
I
or
would
whatever
like-
you do around.
I would like
Go ahead.
to casually approach Weasel as we're
Oh, no.
walking.
Go over it.
Alright, he's like walking beside Thorgrim. He seems like kind of like one of those longtime buddies, you know.
Weasel, a word, please, if you don't mind. It won't be long.
Always a word, sure. Why? What's up?
I sort of gesture my head, like kind of jerk it to the right to
He's
like,
definitely gonna
you
kill
know,
him.
walk over with me.
You're not going
No,
to
it's
stab
just-
me or something, right?
No, I would shoot you if I was going to do anything.
His face grows a little bit serious. He looks over towards Thorgrim on his other side, and kind of like a yeesh.
And then,
face.
and then I crack a smile. I'm just kidding. I'm kidding. Come on.
Thorgrim, do you trust this guy? And Thorgrim's like, he shrugs.
What?
I guess.
What do you, Thorgrim? I'm hurt. You don't trust me?
Weasel relents and is like gestures like, oh yeah, all right, lead the way, kind of.
All right. As soon as we get sort of out of earshot of Thorgrim,
I didn't want to make a big deal of this around everyone, but I'm going to need that bottle of wine you have stashed in your pack there.
He pulls out the bottle. Sorry, for what reason?
Because that wine is poisoned with some sort of magic or illness or something that turns people into the creatures that try to rapidly desanguinate you by means of bite.
I brought this with me from the ships. It helps me sleep at night before raids.
I look at the bottle. Does it look like sort of the I don't know if these bottles of wine had like
They got a tag on
a
it.
maker's label or anything on them? Does it look like the same sort of bottle that we destroyed?
They had like waxy seals, right?
Mm-hmm.
And the ones back at the vineyard were sort of like a reddish color.
Yeah.
And this one, it's kind of hard to make out in the dim lighting of nighttime, but it looks maybe peach colored.
All right. Can't be too careful. I'm sure you understand.
Are you feeling okay? You alright? You paranoid or something? Worried about the raid?
No, I'm worried about you turning into a foul creature with no thoughts for its own safety or the safety of those around it, trying to eat me. That's what I'm worried about.
And this
In my experience, a healthy level of paranoia is good for keeping yourself alive.
Right. Sure. A bit strange as well, but yeah, sure.
Right, well, I'll let you get back to it.
Right. Before we cut away from this scene, Waffle. Coming back over
Yeah.
to Rubin. What's Rubin doing at this time?
Rubin was probably helping Gabriel burn these carts, collecting everything.
Well, I mean, like now that
You said,
you guys are walking past that all.
oh, after we had already done it?
Yeah,
You said there was a horse standing there?
there is one horse standing there still. Yeah.
You better do something with it before I inexplicably
does-
split it in two.
Yeah, does it appear to be a normal horse? Rubin's gonna approach it. Does it appear to be a normal horse? I mean,
Back when you were back there, yes, it did appear to be a normal horse.
oh, so we're already long gone past.
No, I
it.
mean, you guys are already like on the move again. But if you want to go back to that kind of scene and say like something would have happened, then yeah, let's cover it. Let's cover that right now.
Yeah, otherwise it might
Okay.
burn alive.
Yeah,
'Cause I think it's
I
still on
think-
the cart. Whoops.
Yeah, I think Reuben would like go to test to see if it's trying to bite him or if it had any bite marks on it itself, and if not, then he'd unhitch it. And
It's dark outside.
know.
Make an investigation.
Okay, I will. Stand by. Investigation.
It does not appear
16.
does not appear that it has any bites.
okay, then Yeah, Rubin's gonna, start unhitching the horse before it gets completely annihilated by this fire that Gabriel's setting.
Mhm.
Knowing Gabriel's track record with horses.
True.
Yeah, true. I
And then
mean,
what?
PTSD flashbacks of it.
He's just gonna walk it along with them, I guess.
So that's something I should probably cover. It was the session before the party got to Grabenstein. For those of you that are familiar with what happened in the recap, the party saw the beast, and the beast saw the party, and the beast has this tendency to draw out the worst in people, and so Gabriel, under the influence of the beast, they had a couple horses. They had 2 left, and Gabriel, under the influence of the beast, like with his greatsword, cleaved like right into the back of the neck of one of the horses and put it to rest. Not the greatest situation, and so we kind of teased about that from time to time. But yeah, so sorry, what did you say you do with the horse now?
Ruben's just leading it along, like by the reins.
Like with the rest of the people?
Yeah.
Okay.
He's just walking the horse.
And as you guys are moving along, what about Gabriel? Does Gabriel do anything of note? We're gonna say that this spans like the time frame up until you're in eye shot of Castelor. So is there anything you would have done in the next like 6 miles?
Not particularly. Probably given the potions and the daggers to Tamacti so you can check them out while we're walking. But other than that, nothing of note for me.
Is that something that Tamacti can do on the move?
Not if he does ritual, but if he just casts the spell, yeah, because identify as an action, so it's like it takes, what you can do it in combat, literally.
Yeah, I mean, I guess I could burn.
Yeah, you could. I mean, if you don't want to, that's cool too.
No, we're fine. It looks like the daggers are a match set.
Got it.
At least in appearance, right?
It does, yeah.
Okay, well, I'll identify one.
Okay.
I will use the method which Mother Ishka taught me.
Okay. I just sent you something so you can kind of converse that back to the party as you wish. While you're reading that, though,
Damn, that's kind of cool.
Yeah, kind of cool. What anything else that any 3 of you would have done during this time period up until?
Yeah, Rubin would probably speak to Gabriel, as they're walking along and he catches up from burning the carts. Rubin looks over at him. Perhaps I should scout ahead. I've got a horse and
I know
a bit of magic.
Go.
And he knows what. Right, I will
Be careful.
come back to you if I find anything. And Rubin is going to mount himself upon this horse.
Okay.
Begin taking off down the road.
Okay, that changes things. That really changes things.
Yeah.
Now that you guys actually have a horse.
And I also have Longstrider and Favored Terrain.
Are you gonna cast Longstrider?
I am.
Okay.
Yeah, he's booking it. He's quick.
And you're casting it on the
And
horse, I imagine.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I figure since it's not a long distance, the horse isn't gonna fucking die from this run.
Last time that Rubin ran
You
the
don't have
horse
a good
in
track
the
record.
nighttime, the horse tripped and broke its leg, and then the party
And
got
I
attacked
broke
by
my
the beast.
legs.
Yeah, and then the horse landed
Yeah.
on Rubin. Okay, then that changes up how I was just about to narrate what happens next. Just triple checking anything else that would have happened back at the marching people now that Tamacti has identified these daggers.
I would like to locate my new buddy Tabe.
Oh, okay. You probably like fall back into
Yeah.
the crowd then.
I just want to warn him about what we might be walking into, and tell him to be careful not to let one of them get too close, lest it bite him. Because we're not quite sure what getting bit might do. Just
Okay.
sort of pass along my good luck and blessings, and tell them that if he needs me, I'll be up front.
Okay.
And then I'll
he
look
receives
in.
that pretty well. Do you have those 2 daggers like out in the open, or did you give those back to Gabriel, or are you holding on to them, or what?
They're probably tucked into my belt, sort of like one on either side, kind of probably right behind my 2 hip holsters.
Got it. Okay. Good to know. Just for my own knowledge and information. But yeah, Tabe receives it well, and as you're making your way back up towards the front of the kind of column, You notice that up ahead in the distance, like far up ahead in the distance, there's a tall body of smoke above the city of Castelor on the horizon, and it's lit up with the light of fire. Rubin, you notice a little bit more, so we're gonna get back to you. So Tamacti and Gabriel and you two see this, and probably Thorgrim brings it up.
Well, I guess that someone got back to the rest of them with some of the bottles. Do you see that fire?
I nod. So it would seem.
Shit.
Shit, indeed.
Well, the raid is still a raid, and if they're not too difficult to fight, then if they don't use weapons, then we kind of have an advantage to some extent.
Perhaps we send in an advanced scouting party just to make sure we know what we're walking into.
I'm not sure that will be necessary. Like you explained, they're just mindless biting freaks.
Sure, but something caused them, right? Perhaps whatever or whoever caused them is waiting for us there and has devised new and interesting ways to threaten our lives.
What do you mean, what caused them? You said a bottle of wine caused it.
Yes, but something changed the wine, no?
Oh, yes. Someone.
But you think they would have stuck around?
Maybe not.
Tamacti shrugs. I have not lived as long as I have by throwing caution to the wind.
Okay. We, Actually, yeah, I'm gonna continue this encounter. Sorry, I was gonna pan away to Rubin, but I decided against it just now.
I have led many raids, and I think that the best course of action will just be to have a big group of us. I think that if we send an advanced party, then the chances of them being mauled and attacked by these things that seem to be relentless, as Gabriel explained, then it seems like sentencing the small party to death, does it not?
Very well, I relent to your wisdom.
He nods once to you, and waves once over his shoulder and continues moving the party or the army up ahead. Unless you guys have any other words.
Nope.
I sort of grab Gabriel by the shoulder.
These daggers are a matched set, crafted from some manner of large spider. When used in tandem, they secrete some sort of poison, but only when they are used together.
I nod. Very well. You plan on using them?
I mean, I could try. It's always nice to have something in case I'm caught unawares without my firearms to protect me.
Then keep them.
Very well, thank you.
What of the potions?
What of the potions, indeed? I will have to... give me a moment.
And how many were there? 2 potions, right?
Yeah, there was 2.
Yeah. Okay, I'll identify both those as well.
Damn, casting 2 more spell slots?
Yeah.
Okay.
You don't have to, but...
I'm gonna send you these blurbs, and then I also want to bring something up to Waffle that if he does interact with, then there's gonna be a roll on it to see if it, because I don't want to be pointed. But so last session we were at the vineyard, right? And you had just had like a fresh conversation with Kirill. I think you guys were probably at the vineyard for less than like an hour.
Yeah, we weren't there too long.
Mhm.
And so this probably would have still been fresh in your mind, the whole like light the fire, sink the stars thing.
Yeah, I remember.
And
really
so
big
you
fire.
absorbed that fire. Now all of a sudden there's a gigantic fire. Do you think that would have been on Rubin's mind to kind of try and mess with that, or do you think it would have been
You mean the gigantic fire in the city?
in the vineyard?
Oh, no, just because it's probably better if all that burns. He saw last time how it just kind of sucked the flame away.
Mm-hmm.
So, definitely better if that stuff burns and there's no wine left.
Okay.
Damn,
Okay.
a real trooper. Team player.
Yeah.
Let me just write that down, that note really quick.
Yeah, there's a fire in the city, though. So,
There is a fire in the city.
in fact, probably the whole city is on fire.
And so I think that the rest of the army is like a mile away now from Castelor. They can now see it on the horizon. There are sparse trees here and there. and you are riding on horse to
Clop, 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 clop.
yeah, like sprinting, I would imagine, because you cast Longstrider.
Yeah.
You make it to, a mile away, and you see this fire as well. What do you do?
You know what?
It's like
Is there anything between us and like? Can I see the city now, or is it just a fire and kind of like a backlit?
There are kind of sparse trees, and it's hard to see the city itself. Like you can't really get over them unless you're to like climb up a tree, I guess. But I don't know if you do that. It's up to you, of course. But
no, he's gonna stay
like
on his horse.
There's a giant like smoke cloud above the city from all the fires, like the sparse sort of fires, and the underside of this giant smoke cloud is glowing a sort of orangish hue because of all the light from these fires. Like,
okay, so a
like
little bit of light pollution going on. Yeah. How far away is the city from us?
From you, about half a mile.
Or from me, I guess. Half a mile?
Or, sorry, about a mile when you see this
About
kind of
a mile?
fire on the cloud.
Rubin's gonna slow down a moment, look to his sides and make sure there's nothing waiting in the tree line, and then continue clapping. But before that, I did have a question.
Mm-hmm.
Invisibility, right?
Okay. Are you gonna try and cast it on your horse? Is that what you're asking?
A creature. I'm gonna read the spell, and you tell me what you think. A creature you touch becomes invisible until the spell ends. Anything that the target is wearing or carrying is invisible as long as it's on the target's person. The spell ends for a target that attacks or casts.
And you want to know that if you cast it on the horse, if because
it's carrying me.
Oh my fucking god!
If I am awesome.
I mean, like,
Proxy.
I'm gonna argue that that would work because wording. It's got to be better than that.
Then I am gonna cast invisibility on my horse,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm gonna clap invisibly down the road towards the city.
Okay.
Oh man.
Okay.
I need to scout this out. I don't want us walking into a death trap.
How close do you get to the city? Like, do you actually go into it, or like you stay maybe like?
No, not into it. Like towards enough to where I can see like the gates and kind of try and figure out what the hell's going on.
Okay,
here.
I'm gonna kind of show you the aesthetic. If you look in now that you're closer than everyone else, if you look in D&D General 2B, you will see a Tailspire image that I took because I recreated this scene for the sake of this reason.
Oh,
so it's like
the whole city
on
is
a mound,
Ah,
but like
okay,
also imagine a shit ton of smoke around it and whatnot. This is purely just for reference.
Okay. Wow. Yeah, I'm gonna approach the gates and try. I mean, if I see anyone, if there's bodies like outside, if I can hear anything other than the crackling of fire and whatnot.
Okay.
Try and get a gauge of what's going on from the outside.
This is so sick. Additionally, it is much darker than it is in this photo because you can't like dial down the moon's light in Tailspire. It's just kind of like always a certain sort of constant. But like right now, one of the moons is completely a new moon, so it's like all black. You can't see it, and the other one is just a sliver. So there's not a whole lot of moonlight illuminating this scene right now. So it's actually way darker than it is in that image. So you can't really see, other than like the smoke there. You can't really see like. Not a whole lot is visible, but anyways, so it sounds like you're making your way up towards the city and into the city, and you see people like there's a wall around it, and there's like gates. The gate is closed, but you hear what sounds like a lot of screaming and fighting inside of the walls, and there are no guards on the walls that you can tell. Actually, you maybe see one or two guards like launching crossbow bolts down into towards the city.
That's not a good sign.
Okay, and doesn't appear to be anyone on the outside here, or anything.
No.
Right. Fuck. How tall is this wall?
Just over the tree line, so like 30 feet, maybe.
It's a real wall. Okay.
Yeah, it's stone. It's definitely stone.
All right, then, at that point, Rubin's gonna, unless if I can, no, there's probably nothing else to see. How like, wide is the city? Like, how long would it take to ride around to, like, a different side?
So the city is a little bit larger than is depicted in this image. Like I said, this is just for reference to kind of get, like, the general image. but it is probably how many laps around those like cross or laps around like the tracks at schools equals a mile? Was it 4 or 8?
It is 4.
It's 4. Okay.
4 laps, yeah.
Yeah, I'd say about half a mile then, wide, and so it'd probably take a little bit of time to get around it. But on a horse with like long strider, not too bad.
Okay, I'm gonna try to do that.
Okay, and you're just trying to get around to look for what in specific? Just a way in.
Yeah, just a way in that's not barred.
Okay, cool.
Because I imagine we didn't bring any fucking siege equipment with us. You know?
Doesn't look like it.
Yeah.
Okay, then I'm gonna write down a little note for myself on my little notepad that we're gonna reason that you have about 30 minutes before Thorgrim and the rest of them get like half a mile away, or before they reach the 1 mile away point. Or no, they saw it at a mile. Before they quote unquote arrive at the city. We're gonna say that there's about, you have 30 minutes, and so we're gonna ration all of your time and stuff. It probably takes you about 5 minutes to get around and find an entrance into the city.
Okay, so there is another entrance.
You did cast invisibility, right, on the horse?
Yeah.
Okay.
And it lasts an hour.
Okay, yeah. So you find another entrance. It takes you about 5 minutes on your horse to bolt around and find another gate. And this gate is open just wide enough for like a single horse and person to get through.
Well, a single horse and person will get through it.
Does get through. And you see like frantic chaos inside the city. People like grabbing each other by the hair and bashing others into like the stone ground, like the roads and stuff like that, and somebody getting thrown out of one of the windows and like just like crunching into the ground. You hear like a wet sort of splat, and like others are throwing torches and fires onto buildings and like just like laughing hysterically. It's a sight to behold. And the crossbowmen on the walls, they seem to be shooting into people that look like they're either just defending themselves or just like for no reason that is obvious, attacking other people. Like there's no discrimination who they're shooting these crossbow bolts at.
Okay, but they're not shooting each other.
They're not shooting each other. Well, actually,
okay.
Make a perception. We'll see what else we find out.
I would like to. Yeah, I'd like to roll a perception. Let's see. Stand by. Perception.
And that one, 4. You can only see a couple of them up there shooting bolts down, and they're like very far away from each other, not close enough that they could actually reasonably shoot at each other. So they're up. I mean, whether or not the option is like even in their head, if they're thinking about it, they seem to just be focusing on people that are down at ground level.
Okay.
So if people are already rioting and you cast Incite Riot on them, does that cancel out the riot?
I think it just makes them riot harder. All right. I mean, at that point, I think, riding further into the city would just be idiotic. So Rubin's gonna turn back around, ride out the way he came, and try to meet with their forces before they reach the place, so you can tell them what's going on. So
you begin to panic, and your horse is kind of like bucking around a little bit. People can hear it like neighing, right? And it's like just screaming. and they're like looking around like, where the fuck is this thing? And you see somebody like throw a brick in the general direction of where they're hearing this from. Let me see if they hit.
You really can't catch a break with horses.
I rolled a disadvantage. Their disadvantage was an 18. This brick smashes into the side of the head of this invisible horse, and all of a sudden it topples over, and you come out of invisibility.
Wait. Can I jump off of the horse before it breaks my fucking leg?
I'd say so, yeah. You see the break coming.
Okay, thank God.
Actually, make a reflex save. Or a dexterity save.
Do this to me.
Oh my God.
Make a dex save.
Bye, dude.
A 13, I'd say you were able to make your way off the horse before it like collapses and crushes.
Oh, shit. Yeah, suddenly, like, you hear a wet thump, you hear a horse screeching, and then a dude just, like, rolls onto the ground from out of thin air.
Yeah, and this guy that threw the brick, all of a sudden, a wide grin crosses his face, and his eyes go wide as he's like, the expression just means, like, I knew it. and he's like glaring at you, and starts to run towards you with another brick in his hand, and you just hear like shouting like, "Over there!" and like, "Get him!" stuff like that.
I'm gonna fucking book it, dude.
Did I hear that horse dying? I guess he's pretty far away. So.
I mean, yeah, I'm gonna book it.
He's like inside the city. You guys are just like maybe half a mile outside of it now, unless you guys stop. Like close enough that you can now see the city on fire through the trees. And you're just trying to book it?
At least to the gate where there's like a little funnel that I can kind of handle.
Okay. This is sick. Yeah, I'd say if you're already headed towards the gate when this like kind of neighing happens and you're already closer to the gate than these people, then you're able to make your way to the gate. You could try and close the door if you want, or you could try and hold it, or you could just keep running. It's just really up to you, of course, but
as he's like reaching the gate before he actually has a moment to like turn around, Rubin's glancing over his shoulder. How close, like how hot on his trail are they?
Maybe like 10, 15 feet. You gotta understand, they're wearing like peasant clothing and you're wearing like half plate, so they're sprinting.
And how many?
Probably about 3 of them.
Oh, you can take these fuckers.
Okay. Yeah.
These guys think they're gonna teach you a lesson with bricks, bro. They're in for a fucking...
As he reaches the gate, Rubin spins around and like uncoils the Starsinker. And hey. It's got quite a bit of range on it.
Uh-huh.
About the distance that they are from him.
Yeah.
And he just whips it out towards the first dude.
Okay.
To try and strike him with that barbed head.
Make an attack on that.
Okay. I still don't think I've added it to the thing. So I'm just going to use my other fighting chain.
Okay.
Because I think it has the same stats.
It has a +2, so...
Oh, okay. I'll just add it. So 12.
12 hits, and so you you grab the chain by probably like your left hand, then your right hand, you're like swinging around, you like whip it, and or like release it and like whips forward, just like spiking in a straight line like right into the guy's face, and he just like collapses, like front of the face like caved in, blood just spewing out, and the second person like just jumps right over the body, still headed for you. I'll allow you one more attack if you try and attack before they reach you.
Yeah, definitely another attack, and Rubin's cursing under his breath as he's like whirling the chain back up again to lash it out. That's a 15.
Same thing happens, and you like catch him kind of in the chest, and you see like this barb like stick into him, and it's kind of like hooked there for a second, and as you jerk it back, he lunges forward a little bit before like slowing down his speed and just like collapsing. And the third one runs up and tries to hit you in the head with this brick on your helmet for a 17.
Oh, I have 18 AC.
So he like tries to swing at you, and you just like step to the side. Then what? He's like cursing, just like screaming frantically at you.
Yeah, he steps to the side and kicks for the guy's knee to try and bring him down, so he can't strike him in the head with this brick.
Okay.
Would you like me to roll for that?
I would.
Okay, what do you want me to roll? Strength?
Yeah, strength
or something. Okay.
Okay, an 18.
An 18.
And describe how that happens again.
Yeah, so this guy manages to get up before he coils the chain all the way back and swings with the brick. Rubin sidesteps and kicks towards the back of his leg to bring him down, and then just goes to try and wrap the chain around his neck.
Oh, okay. I'd say that you succeed in trying to put him down if you're trying to do that.
Yeah.
I mean, like, for good,
Yeah.
And now I think that the rest of the army is close enough to... let's see. No, you still got some time. Yeah. So, like,
okay.
That probably took you... You got to the gate. That probably took you, 20 minutes before they arrived. They're close enough to be there,
Gotcha. I assume my horse is lost.
Your horse...
It's invisible.
I got hit.
It
no
took
longer.
damage. It definitely is no longer invisible. But in it being hit in the head, it kind of bucked up and fell over on its back. And as it was trying to get up, a couple people jumped it and just started
damn. Poor
just
horse.
bashing it. They seem a lot focused on it. In fact, even past the point of it being dead, they're still just smashing it.
Gotcha. At this point, Rubin's gonna just continue darting back towards where he came from.
Okay,
Leaving the 3 corpses on the ground.
Yeah, just like I imagine it. I imagine it similar to like Darkest Dungeon, the like intro where you see the founder of the household or like the owner of the family household like just like frantically just sprinting back like.
Yeah, he is hauling ass.
Okay, and it starts to gently rain. Like rain starts to sweep over the city, and it's not like a heavy rain; it's just like a sprinkle kind of. Sort of dampening down some of the smoke that's rising up, but replacing it with like a steam kind of. And as you're running away, you hear a sound.
What sound?
Let me.
Oh, is there an audio clip?
It is.
Oh,
You know how we do it here.
love those.
It kind of like ripples through the air, reverberating in heavy sort of thunder.
Is my sign glowing?
I don't think that whatever made that sound is close enough to cause your sign to glow.
Is that sound kind of sounds familiar?
You can roll a history.
Yeah, I is the. Okay, let me roll a history of 14. Sounds like the beast to me.
A history of 14. I would think that you like look upward, right? Above you, and you catch a screenshot from me, an image of the sword.
Okay. Fuck me. I'm gonna drink something.
Okay.
Like as Rubin is hauling ass,
Yeah,
he looks back over his shoulder, stumbling a little bit, and he manages to catch a glimpse of what he was looking for,
Mm-hmm.
and he fumbles for his belt and grabs a potion that he had on it. I'm gonna chug down this remove fear potion.
Remove fear. You have a remove fear potion?
I do. I've been hanging on to it for a very long time.
Actually pretty sick. Okay. I was gonna make.
And Rubin is gonna keep fucking sprinting.
Okay.
He needs to reach the army.
Okay. Yeah, you're gonna keep sprinting. I'd say it's like a 10 and
I'll cast another long strider on myself.
Okay.
Let me do that.
Long strider. Then I think that you make it back to the army, just frantically like lapping and wailing and flailing around, like probably glancing over your shoulder here and there. Maybe even you pull up your visor. I don't know. But
yeah, it's already up. He had to pull it up to drink the potion. It's it's on his head.
And so you are looking over your shoulder and you slam into something all of a sudden.
And Rubin tries to catch himself before he tumbles to the ground. Turning to see what he slammed into.
Rubin, what seems to be the problem? Where are you going?
And he's like heavily breathing. This man just running his ass off. I'd say, even though he drank the remove fear potion, a little bit afraid.
Yeah. And it's and of course for those of you that recognize the voice, it's Kirill in front of him. You just like smash into it, like just meaty and bony.
You remember what Boba said? Don't trust him.
What, you're running away from what? Potential bloodshed to please the master.
The beast.
The beast. The beast is back in the story, huh? I mean, the Pirog, you're fine.
No, I saw it. I saw it with my own eyes.
Rubin, take your bald fist and rub your eyes again and look. I see nothing.
And he slowly turns back, wiping at his face. There's probably like some sweat. He's wiping at his eyes and looks back towards the city.
I think that you're going mad.
And you rub your eyes and you look back towards the city, and it's just like a cloud of smoke and steam there.
No,
There's no beast that I see.
I saw it.
Right. Then run along. Run back to your friends. The master and I. We will discuss this.
And he turns back to Kirill and again rubs at his eyes. He's still breathing heavily, and manages to catch enough wind.
And what would you have me do?
I would have you go back there and please the master. I would not see you run like a coward back to your people, like a sheep. But if you're afraid, then Rubin, go on, be free, be with them, by all means.
He takes another moment, to breathe. His eyes divert to the ground.
It's fine, I swear.
A hand comes up and slaps down his visor.
At least,
God damn it.
At least that Corin will impress the master when the curse finally comes to fruition and sets in.
I'm not a coward, he mutters, and moves to turn back towards the city.
And Kirill cracks like a wide, toothy grin that runs all the way from the sides of his lips down. I mean, like, his lips aren't really lips, they're like, his teeth run all the way down the side of his neck, like his whole head like opens up into the mouth practically, and like his whole neck if you were to try and eat something.
It was them that made the goddamn wine.
And he grins, and he looks back at the city.
Then go then. Do not be the sheep, Rubin. Be the wolf.
And with that, he starts marching his way back. I wouldn't say exactly with renewed confidence, but knowing that this is what he has to do.
You just got baited. I'm gonna kill Kirill. You have my word. I don't care who he is. When it's all said and done, he'll just be another dead demon.
This is sick. The split party.
The split party podcast.
So you run back to the city. Let's
Yeah.
see.
If I kill Kirill, I'd do this to help Rubin, not against him. This is for his own good.
And by the time that you make it back to the city, the rest of the army arrives there, close enough that you can hear the screaming and chaos as we kind of flash away from Rubin making his way back into the gate, where it's like the point of no return. Like, does he step through the gate? Does he not? We're gonna flash and pull away from that, and we're gonna come back to the party, Tamacti and Gabriel, there with Thorgrim.
All right. Well, this is it. This is where it happens. Are you ready?
Tamacti would look around.
Rubin is taking too long.
Should I try messaging him?
I nod.
You have message?
Yeah.
That's
Damn!
I mean, it's a cantrip. I've used it before.
Wasn't that sending you? What's the range on that? Because I think it's shorter than... You might be too far for you to use.
I think it is shorter.
Oh, yeah, it is. It's only 120 feet.
Yeah, you need to, like, if you have the spell, you can go super far, pretty much unlimited, but the cantrip is, like, really close. It's just to send, like, mental messages when you're, like, next to someone. You don't want to...
I forgot there were two different spells.
I think that for sake of the RP, though, you probably do try and message him, because you already said that you were going to, and there's no response because he's just too far away.
Alright.
Alright, let's go then. It seems the city is already lost.
And Thorgrim looks over his shoulder to the rest of everyone and nods a couple times. Everyone starts to kind of like jog through the woods, and they're like sparse trees. If you refer to the images left in 2B, like there are clearly trees there and like rocks and elevated spots, and everyone's kind of running towards it, and then they try to like bust in the gate. And the two crossbowmen atop the walls that are visible are still not paying any attention to it, to like what the gate as it's actively being busted into, and they're shouting and everything like that. They're like cackling atop the walls and just like launching bolt after bolt down into the city.
How high is the wall?
About 30 feet.
Can I climb it?
I send an echo up there.
Send your echo up there. Do you switch with the echo, or do you?
Yes, I switch.
Okay.
I'm gonna kill these two guys.
I would say that because they're facing away and they're not even paying attention, you cut them down without a problem.
Okay.
What about Tamacti? What's Tamacti doing?
Well, I was going to try and climb up there to try and break them out of the curse, but they're dead now. So.
Yep,
sounds
they are.
Yeah, I think that the concept of him flashing an echo up there happens before you'd be able to like make your way all the way up top.
No, you should definitely come up there because it's pretty good view to start shooting people.
I think you fundamentally misunderstand everything about what my character intends to do here.
Look, man, this place is lost. We're not gonna break the cursed person. This is you're not. This is the lost cause.
Okay, and so this is sick. I'm gonna take some creative liberty here. Rubin, you're at this is before the others get to the wall. You're at this gate. Tamacti tried to message you, but it was out of range. He could not get the spell to you. And you are now faced with this decision. Do you, A, go into the city, or B, turn back and not listen to Kirill?
Rubin had decided he's going into the city. It's something he's got to do.
Okay. And so you still have about 10 minutes before or maybe just 5 minutes at this point before the rest of the army arrives, like at the gate, since they're going to be jogging up to it. What do you do during those 5 minutes?
He's just working his way up the street, trying to, quote unquote, ignite the fire. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Sucking away everything he can, and anything that comes at him gets killed.
Wait, so sorry, you said he's trying to light the fire, like then he's...
No. He's using the Starsinker. He's gonna try to absorb all these fires.
Okay. So like just
on his way as he's making his way down the street.
Yeah, I imagine it, like, it's so cool in my head. I wish I could just like port it into your brains, but he's like, enters through the gates, and it's like a cool overhead camera view of him, like the backside of him, like as he's walking through, and you just see like the chaos of people like attacking each other and stuff like that. And slowly, like a couple people, like their heads start to raise up towards Rubin, and they start to run towards him, and it's just like the cycle for Rubin. It's just like, okay, this is it. This is what I do. And he's just like cleaving his way through them, or not metaphorically cleaving his way through them, and like as he's like swinging the chain around and stuff like that, any chance that he gets where he gets close enough to a fire, he's like letting the chain pass through the fire, and it just like the fire just vanishes, gets sucked right into it.
Mm-hmm.
Make for me just a roll, like a 1d100.
Okay. 1d100. 73.
73. Okay. Let me.
God, I hope that's not how many people I just murdered.
No, that'd be sick though.
I was about to say.
I wanted to look at something that I wrote down earlier. Okay, this is sick. As you are like just making your way through these people like a metaphorical tornado of carnage, and these fires are getting absorbed into the chain. It's getting warmer and warmer and warmer to the point that you can feel it through your gauntlet, and it's starting to glow like a gentle orange, and you just hear like whispering into you still, like, light the fire, seek the stars, and it's just like over and over, just like echoing in different sort of pitches and whispers and echoes, the more and more that you're just making your way through this city. And for thematic sake, as you're doing all of this and the others make their way up above the wall, you guys look, or Gabriel, as you take care of these two guards. Tamacti said he's not really trying to climb up there.
I'll get up there, just not for the purpose that Gabriel wants me to.
Okay. And as you make your way to the top, you see that this gate gets busted in finally, and these raiding Northmen begin to fill into the city. First the merchants, and then following them would be Rune's people, who are under the merchants' kind of leadership right now, and then Mithra, and then Seer, and then finally Limgri and Volgar. I'd say maybe it gets to all the way through the merchants' people by the time that, Gabriel, you look down into the city. Roll a perception for me.
Sure. It's a lost cause, Covert, man. Tamacti's like fucking Jon Snow in the King's Landing raid, trying to stop people from killing everyone. Oh, shit.
Oh, 25. You see Rubin, just working his way frantically through these. You recognize his helmet, and the horns are up and everything like that, and the symbols on his helmet that are drawn into it, because they are there already, right?
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. You see them starting to glow. Rubin can't see it from his side of things, but you can see that his helmet is just glowing with these runes in abyssal.
I look at Tamacti as he scales the wall behind me, and I point. There's Rubin. I'm going for him. If you're coming with, I'm not sure what's taking a hold of him.
Well, perhaps it has something to do with the fact that every step of this journey, we seem to have, well, never mind.
I look at you. I know how you feel, Tamacti. I'm sorry.
How much do you know about who he worships?
Enough to know that it is not good. I do not trust this Kirill, this demon. And I swear to you that once we have some time, or a chance, I will kill that demon. And I do not care who he serves. He'll be dead.
Tamacti holds up a gem. You would know it would be one of the ones that the Northmen craft that hold spells.
I have my own plans for that demon. Do not worry.
I nod. Very well. Well, if you want to cover me, stay here, but I'm going for Rubin.
This is so sick.
Very well.
I'll tap you on the shoulder, and I'm going to start running from rooftop to rooftop, using the echo for long jumps and stuff.
I was gonna ask, are there any rooftops within like jumping distance of the wall?
Any rooftops within jumping distance? I would say that the answer is yes. Like there's maybe one or two that are close enough that if you got a running start and like leapt off the battlement.
Yeah. All right. Tamacti's gonna sort of prep himself, and then he's actually going to. Well, I don't know if you'll allow me to do this or not. Sort of like basically almost prep to like pre-cast Misty Step in case he slips and falls without actually casting it. That makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if I can do that or not.
I'm gonna say yeah.
Okay.
We're being real Hollywood movie-esque right now.
Yeah. It's 5e, you know? You gotta...
Sometimes it's cool to just be sick.
Well, to be fair, Misty Step's a bonus action. It doesn't
Yeah.
take a long time at all to cast. It's super
Yeah.
short.
Yeah, but I don't trust DM Prowler as far as I can throw him, as far as the safety and health of my
Hey, it's
character.
about to get real cool. That's all I'm saying.
I gotta go save Rubin, dude. He's nuts with it right now.
No, you gotta save him by putting him down like a rabid
I know,
dog.
dude. That's what I mean, but I'm not gonna kill him. You can't do that.
Yeah.
That's my
Yeah, you
friend.
can. About to split this party even further.
The split party podcast.
All right, so Tamacti's going to try and jump from rooftop to rooftop, like looking for anybody that appears that they need help. Like, is there anyone in this entire
appears-
fucking city that isn't just trying to murder everybody else?
Make a perception.
13.
13. You don't spot anyone, but you do get about 3 rooftops away when we pan away from you and I come back to Gabriel. Gabriel, are you like echoing down there and then switching and going for Rubin, or what's up?
Yes.
And like the Northmen are like not filing in, but like just spreading in like a tide, just washing into the city. And people are like running past you and like shoulder bumping into you on accident, and it's just like you're being swallowed up by this massive expanding crowd. And you can still see Rubin's like glowing orange chain just like whipping up into the air and then like lashing down into the ground, and like that's just another one in the bag for him.
Yeah.
And so what, you start running towards him, or?
Yes.
I think that you make it all the way to him, and I want to hear that interaction.
Sure. Rubin!
And, Rubin had been continually walking down the road, swinging his chain, just swiping at anything he could find, and his head turns back at the familiar voice, staring towards Gabriel.
What are you doing?
I saw it, Gabriel.
What did you see?
I saw the beast.
And you see, as you're having this conversation with him and he's looking at you and you're looking at him, you see that Rubin's eyes are glowing orange, like a bright, searing orange.
I look around. I'd see the beast, I guess, if it was there, because it's fucking the size of a skyscraper. So.
Well, the sky is blotted out with like smoke and steam right now, so it's hard to see.
Fair enough. I do not think the beast comes here, Rubin.
And he shakes his head. And there is no sun in Astoria. But look where we are.
Well, I suppose that's a pretty fair point. I suppose that's fair. Why did you not come back?
I was going to warn you, but it doesn't matter now.
I suppose not. I look at the chain in his eyes, and the helmet, I guess, because fucking too many goddamn items on him are glowing at this point, including himself.
Mm-hmm.
What the fuck is going on with this chain?
I have to sync the stars, Gabriel.
I cork a non-existent eyebrow. That means, like, what the fuck are you talking about? I'm not sure I know what that means.
I'm not sure I do either, but I'm going to find out.
And who is telling you to do this?
And he, kind of irks his neck a little bit as, clearly there's something going on below the surface.
Yeah. You're a little mentally deranged.
He's a little bit psycho at the
a little
moment.
bit, a little out of it.
Not that he's ever been particularly sane, but especially so now.
And you hear it again. It ripples out across the air, and
I
everyone,
suppose I
all the
don't hear
Northmen,
this?
you hear it too.
Oh, shit.
And Tamacti hears it too when he's the third roof across, and all of the Northmen hear it, and all of the people of the city that are already freaking out ignore it. And the Northmen look up, and you start to hear gasps and awes and like screams of terror. And I need Tamacti and Gabriel to make a wisdom saving throw.
Oh, shit, yeah. This is the plan of Curl. It's to get everyone in the goddamn city to lose their fucking mind and kill each other. Damn, we fell right for it.
If you look in 2B,
18, hey.
Oh my god.
Yo, he's here.
you see the towering figure of the beast, a figure of shadow as tall as a mountain, just like looming over the city and looking down at it with these like glowing orange yellow coals for eyes and like huge silhouettes of antlers like in a crown coming up away from its head. And you guys rolled a 15 and an 18. Gabriel and Tamacti, you both, it's like you get tunnel vision. And your vision starts to go black like a vignette at the edges and starts to like focus into a singular point in the center of your vision. And it's, you have like maybe 3 seconds before this occurs. Is there anything that you do in a panic of these 3 seconds as you realize that your vision's starting to black out?
Well, there's not much to do. I believe that could save me here. So, no, I don't think I have anything. I don't have any more tricks up my sleeve.
I shout. I don't shout because I don't want to yell. I mutter under my breath, "Oriel, protect us." And then I guess I fucking conk out.
Yeah. You don't know what happens.
I kind of reach for Rubin, but I don't have the time because there's only fucking 3 seconds. So then I probably clock out too.
I think in the last like 3 seconds, right, that you're like there and conscious, Thorgrim like grabs onto your shoulder and turns you around and is like, "What's going on?" And as he's like saying that, you see like the tip of a blade like piercing through his midsection. And he like looks down, like hand on your shoulder, and before your vision goes all the way out.
That's my boy!
Rubin, you see that Weasel has just pierced through the back of Thorgrim, like a kind of crazed look in his eyes, mouth wide grin, as the beast's influence, as the beast's influence begins to settle into not only the city, but your friends and the other Northmen.
We rolled right for their plan.
You just hear in your head again, "Sink the stars."
Ruin's gonna he gets a really good swing on and tries to cast the this chained morning star to the sky and then just slam it down as hard as he can.
But where are you calling this down to?
Oh, definitely the beast. I mean, I think that's kind of his focus here.
Okay. And you see like
that's his only enemy.
This is sick. So in you looking around and seeing this immediately, like all this unfolding at once, and you like swing the chain a couple times and bring it up into the sky, and the color all of a sudden fades from it, and it just goes black again, like cold black steel, and your helmet ceases to glow and your eyes cease to glow, and you for some reason just feel drained all of a sudden, like barely able to stand. Actually, make a strength saving throw.
Okay. A 7.
You're barely able to stand, and you collapse down onto it to one knee, and like looking around, you see Tamacti, like just both handguns in hand, begin to participate in like just shooting down into these crowds. It looks like he's targeting a Northman in one of his shots, and it looks like he's targeting a citizen of Castelor in the other shot. And Gabriel turns around, I guess he's facing Thorgrim, and you see him pull the blade out from his back and just sink it into Thorgrim's like collarbone and halfway across down into his chest. And you're down on one knee.
That was weak.
And you're down on one knee, and then it's as if the sun itself pulls back into the sky. Like you're looking down, and like it's like a flare almost, like the light from a flare. And you just hear this roaring
of flames. And as you look up just in time, you see this like down falling like meteorite or meteor, whichever the smallest one of them is. Just like the beast looks up too, and it just smashes right into the side of his antler. A whole antler cracks off and lurches his head to the side as he almost falls over. This massive explosion letting out like a fireball times 100, and just this like comet almost just streaks into his head and explodes, and all of a sudden you see the sense come back to Tamacti and to Gabriel. And Gabriel, as you're coming back into your senses, and all the Northmen are, you see that the beast is like halfway falling over, but your blade is like sunk into Thorgrim's chest, still like cleaved into him.
The second time the beast made me cleave someone in half. This time it wasn't an animal, unfortunately.
How close is the beast to us?
It's like looming over the city, and you see like as his footfall comes down, it entirely obliterates like 2 whole buildings on the far side of Castlelore.
How close to us?
Other side of the city from you.
Okay.
I kind of get down on my knees, is Thorgrim still alive? Does he have any, or he's fucking gone?
He like slumps off of your sword and like down onto one knee and then onto both knees, and like as you're holding onto your sword, maybe, I don't know how Gabriel's feeling in this moment, but however Gabriel's feeling, if he tries to catch him or not catch him, if he doesn't try and catch him.
I try to catch him. The sword clatters on the ground, I let it go.
Okay, and he's like blood is like frothing from his mouth, and he's
Thorgrim! What happened?
And his eyes sort of like drift upward and off and like half close, and he just goes limp. I don't know what happened. I don't know what happened. And Weasel's like holding, yeah, he's like holding the blade as he like draws it out from Thorgrim's back. It's like a lengthy sort of short sword.
Find whoever you can and get them out of the city.
You see him like take a couple stumbling steps backwards, still like facing towards you, and
go!
Like in disbelief, and you shout, and he just turns on one heel and rushes off, and is like grabbing every single Northman that he can, and is just screaming like, "We retreat, we retreat, we're retreating now."
This is exactly what Kirill wanted. Man, I'm gonna have a field day with him one day.
And this is so sick. This is the sickest thing.
Nah, this ain't at all, dude. This is fucked.
The beast, as it's like halfway collapsing and looks like it's about to hit the ground, like almost about to land on one knee, it vanishes into a massive cloud of smoke that envelops the whole city of Castlelore, and the flames start to die out, like suffocated by this, and you're like choking for breath for a moment. But one of the antlers that was separated from the beast stays, and it collapses down onto the ground there at the like centerpiece of the city, the highest point, and you can see it like jutting up, the silhouette of it, as the smoke clears. And Tamacti, what are you doing during this time?
Tamacti's sort of looking around, gaining his bearings, and realizing that he'd lost control, and looking around and sort of the carnage he assumes he's created. Looks down at the smoking guns in his hands. Probably at this point the barrels are starting to kind of faintly glow. I assume he fucking shot so many rounds off so quickly. Mm-hmm. He just sort of holsters them, looks up at the sky, sort of for a brief moment, kind of straight up, gazing towards the heavens, and then drops his head, turns around, and misty steps to the ground and starts retreating, defeated.
And as you misty step to the ground and start retreating, and the smoke begins to start clearing, standing there in front of Gabriel and in front of Rubin, stepping away from the smoke and like from across the street towards you two, is the figure, just like shrouded in thick crimson, of Kirill. And all he says is, "That's my little wolf.
I'm going to kill."
And we're going to end the session right there. And you guys level up to level 8.
What?
Damn.
What?
We
Level up in this
We
campaign?
don't do that in this campaign.
Yeah, for real, right? It's been fucking
I was
25
expecting
years.
a D level.
Yeah,
We're
you
leveling
guys
up to level 8 as this session ends. And many of the Northmen are retreating away from the city. This antler has just fallen, crashed into the peak of Castlelore. And Tamacti is almost to the gates when all this occurs. So in case anyone wants to stop him next session, But yeah, Thorgrim seems to be dead, and Kirill's just sauntering out from the smoke. And we'd like to take a moment to thank our listeners for being here. Man, what a good session. I think a lot of stuff happened, and there's going to be some good character development off of this. And if you're not already following us on social media and you really like what you heard this session, hopefully you did, go out and follow us on Twitter, follow us on Instagram, subscribe to us on YouTube, drop a like on our videos if you listen to them on there, and this is how you're hearing our podcast. And come join the Discord, hang out, look at all the character art for the cast, look at all the character art for the NPCs, including those lost along the way, and catch a little bit of extra background stuff, and speculate what's going to happen next for the rest of our community. As always, never split the party. Thanks for listening. Catch you next time.
Oh, goddamn.